work at the Hilly. I can't PD and I can't find my Willie. I'm just here for a little attention. Yeah, I got severe hypertension. So why you trying to get to know a Higgy better? Can't and whores, Bella's mom and Schmarietta. I don't know, I'll give it a go. ATF's big show, I ain't no hoe. I don't need a new man with a double D rack. Never mind, Higgy, your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? I'm not one of the girls trying to get locked down. Prince Higgy, baby, Jameson crown. I get down with the Hilly low comp ticket. 16 whiskeys is how I kick it. And you get excited for a midnight snack. I already told you, your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? Your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that. I like sleeping alone. This won't go all night. A little needy and strange. It's true love at first sight. I'm the real deal. I do what I gotta do. From the rip, my whole heart's for you. Your whole heart is not for me. Not a half, not a quarter, not a clog, not a read. You know what's the problem? You're trouble and you're hot. I'm big, thick neck daddy Higgy. He's not. I got a question, not to be rude. Are you queer? Cause you keep calling me dude. Are you glad that you have walked me out? No self-doubt and you didn't cop out. No last words, I'll smother abide. Don't diss the caterpillar and sweat the butterfly. All of them girls must have got you gas. And when they see a good thing, they don't triple bypass. Well, for this town, that's right on track. Cause for me, your game's too whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? Game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that. What am I? Another pretty face getting you a drink from my military base? All I gotta know is why did you use me? You talking? Psh, excuse me. We can't have nothing. You wear depends. Well, if we ain't getting married, then we can't be friends. Well, then I guess it's nothing. Well, hey, I think you're puffing. Well, pass that weed. I won't weed whack nothing. You better catch a flashback. Remember, you ain't tapping it. You ain't my style, and I'm not having it. All I remember from that late night kiss is I'm more the mister, you're more the myth.
Welcome to the Weekend Live Show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Taunton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchard, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Wichita, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave it closed, buddy, and
hey, you a funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a freaking idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aidan. He's not a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody.
I'm not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, blog that.
Let's get this party started.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Boys, go baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the boards. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wild, and you must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ape, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom. You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Boom. What's up, turtle people? How's everyone out there doing tonight? Good, good, excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aidan Kearney. You can call me a variety of names if you'd like. You can call me Turtleboy. Some people just call me Turtleboy. You can call me Uncle Turtleboy. I prefer Dr. Turtleboy if I'm being perfectly honest, because if Judd Welcher's a doctor, then I'm a doctor too, for sure. You can call me Daddy. For some people, that might be a little weird or uncomfortable, but for others, it might be fun and playful, so I will allow it. You can call me Journalism Jesus if you'd like, if you're spiritual. You can call me Timothy Kearney. That's my true crime name. I don't care what you call me, as long as you're here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. I know it's not Saturday. I had my sister's wedding last night. It was a blast. And make sure you smash that subscribe button. We're up to right now. We're up to 146,763. That's pretty close to 147, which is pretty close to 150. So let's get that done. 150,000. We want to see that. So go ahead and do that. All right. If you guys want your messages read out loud, we don't have super chats here. We game the system. We don't, because YouTube takes like 30%. We just built our own platform. It's called Turtle Chats. If you click at the link at the top of the chat, that brings you to Turtle Chat. You can donate or pay whatever amount of money you want and write whatever message you want, as long as it's short. You can't do a centograph. You can't. I will only read the first sentence or two. Doesn't matter how good it is. I'm just you got to keep it brief. You know what I mean? Because we get a lot of these days. More money, more problems. And you can do it that way. Or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. And, we could do it that way. However, I am not going to read any until I am done with my interview tonight, because I don't like being that guy who it's uncomfortable. It's weird when you're like, hey, look at all this money I'm making. Well, you sit there and twiddle your thumbs. I'm not doing that. Okay. But I will. The grift must continue, to be very clear. So like at the end of the interview, that's when the grifting will begin. So, all right, cool. So here's the deal. I'm really excited to have my guest tonight, but we also have an additional second guest tonight. So my first guest is I'm going to bring on Paula first. Hello, Paula. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. You're better known as Juror number 11, and we have a lot to talk about. You've been all over the place, but also joining us tonight, we're going to have another guest with us. We're going to bring them all right now. Look, it's my attorney, Mark Bederow, is also going to join us tonight. So
how are you?
Good, Mark. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Paul?
I'm good. Thank you.
And we're going to stay away from my case. Obviously, we don't want any situations going on there. We're going to strictly, he wanted to come on because, Mark, why don't you tell her, why did you want to come on tonight? Like, what about her?
Well, I think we all see what's going on. I know you have a lot of fascinating questions to ask about the jury, the trial, but the after trial is very interesting. And, you and I are both very familiar with the witness intimidation statute, and it's been out of control the last few days. And certainly you, Paula, have been subjected to a lot of that. And I think it's interesting to analyze what, if anything, should happen as a result of that, in light of how the statute has been exploited and used in other situations involving Karen's trial, depending on viewpoint and whatnot. So just an interesting observation more than anything else.
Why don't we start with that? Why don't we start with this? We just want to say, first of all, I want to say, Paula, that I am very impressed, and the world is impressed. Like, my friends are impressed. I'm getting messages about it, about how well you're handling this, because what they're doing to you online right now, there's this toxic area of Twitter That's just some of the nastiest people you'll ever see. But you're handling it like a pro. Like I would say you're, how did you get so good at just handling these people?
Honestly, with all my respect to the case and the family and all the people involved, I'm having fun with the trolls. I'm not having fun with the case, with the people who are involved, who lives were devastated. Of course not. But this aftermath for me, after those very stressful weeks, months, and between one load of laundry and another, one kid running and another, I'm just checking on X, and then I answer someone here, someone there. I'm not like obsessed with everything, but sometimes I see stuff that is so absurd that I have to answer, and then I use a little sarcasm, which I think people are enjoying.
So I think one of the things that you said was you were like, "Oh yes, I'm going to be rich and famous now." So like you're obviously mocking, and there's this person, this creature by the name of John DePetro, who apparently retweeted that and said she's admitting she's doing this for the fame and the fortune. But you were kidding, correct? Like that's like
of course. Yes. All my comments, I'm joking around. I'm saying like absurd things as well. I'm answering the same level of their comments. It's that simple.
Yeah. So how do you like? They're saying some pretty
nasty things. I know.
Nasty things. And how do you're not? This doesn't bother you at all?
No, I swear. Before like in 2021, I think COVID era, I was a little active on social media, more on Instagram. So I had my opinions displayed there. I deal with already hate on that scenario. And then I disappeared from social media because I was just too busy with everything. So it's not something that I'm new at. I've been there before. But definitely in English is my first time. And I'm being extra careful so people can understand me.
Yeah,
and it's literally sarcasm. I have to answer on the same level. If I'm gonna take everything so serious, I'm gonna be pissed off the whole day, and it doesn't worth it.
So here's the thing, and Mark, you chime in here, but it seems like the issue here is like, so I've been charged with witness intimidation, and we're not going to get into that, but the Massachusetts witness intimidation statute says that if you cause physical or emotional harm, emotional being the key word, harm to somebody who is involved in a court proceeding, which includes a juror, then that is witness intimidation. But Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. The problem here is twofold. Number one, she would have to be the reporting party to file a complaint with the police. And number two, what she's saying right now about it not bothering her is evidence that she's not experiencing emotional harm, right?
I mean, look, these are factors, and it's not so much about encouraging anyone to file charges. The larger issue is the statute. The statute has been used and abused in Massachusetts. We've all seen it. And we're not talking about you specifically, but we've seen it used against other people who, I mean, for Christ's sakes, threw rubber duckies on the ground and were prosecuted under this, under the idea that they were causing emotional harm and trying to intimidate witnesses. Now, the statute, as it relates to jurors, is very interesting because it also includes retaliation against by trying to punish or harm a juror for doing their service. And my point in interest in all of this is if you're going to have a statute and it's going to be used, then it has to be applied fairly, equally, without viewpoint discrimination, without selective prosecution. And the problem that, we've seen, and Paula hasn't because you don't follow this stuff because you were on a jury, although a lot of people don't believe you, as you know, DePetro and whatnot. Putting that nonsense aside, the fact of the matter is if people are out there coming after a juror, talking about you're lying about being a citizen, I saw. They're suggesting that money was paid. They're making references to children. They're making references to lying to get on the jury. There was a video that was posted by somebody and then retweeted by everyone's favorite former FBI agent, claiming that there was a video of you it's obviously sliced and cut and pasted, but where
right.
they suggested that you were literally admitting in an interview to going on Twitter and following, free Karen Reed people during the deliberative process. And this superstar trained investigator, allegedly ex-FBI agent, thought that was true. We've had attorneys indicating how stupid the jurors are, that their citizenship, all of yours, not just yours, should be revoked for just being too stupid to serve on a jury. So, and these are just a few of the examples. I've seen even some stuff on Twitter post-trial, not related to you or the jury directly, but something that could be perceived as almost a death threat to Karen, I saw today. So this stuff, that's the coffin dapper one.
She has taken it back, it seems. She's at least saying now, not too little too late, but
not enough. And, her apology, frankly, to Paula was pretty weak. Saying, you're 11. If she had a shred of dignity, she would contact you directly and publicly so everyone could see it and say, I apologize. But don't expect that. That's not how she rolls.
The video came from someone she trusts, Kate Peter. I mean, maybe that's the problem with Jennifer Covendafer is you've surrounded yourself with and you trust people who are dishonest. Maybe. I don't know.
Whatever it is. And to see other videos today where they're making reference to the police are coming, subpoenas are, this is not, and everybody watching this, I assume knows this because none of us really reside in crazy town.
And the Target thing too. They're talking about Target and Walpole or something like that, which I'm told doesn't exist.
Right. That you confessed to your friends at the Target that, you snuck on the jury or whatever. This is not how the American criminal justice system works. It's not how law enforcement conducts investigations. The way it works is jurors are selected. They're pre-screened, including citizenship people, including an ability to speak and understand English people. That's part of pre-screening and jury selection in 50 states around here. They serve, they deliberate, they render a verdict and go home. And this just happens to be a high profile case. So you got phone calls and you spoke. And for that, this is what you're getting. And the only point ultimately that I'm trying to make here is that if they're going to use the statute for rubber duckies and all this other stuff, what is law enforcement, what is their interest in any of this? Or is it only a one-sided production? That's all.
So, Paul, let me jump. I have so many questions. Now, you've already done interviews with Jessica Machado and Court TV and Sue O'Connell, and I've watched them all.
I lost count.
But there's some questions that haven't been asked that I really want to know the answers to, because everybody asks you about what you think of Aunty Bev and other stuff like that. But my question specifically, what I'd like to know is, walk me through the deliberation process. Okay. So this first day you guys go in for an hour, and what did you guys talk about the first day, that Friday?
Okay, let me just address what Mark was saying. I'm not taking those things lightly, but I'm also not on top of everything. I really don't know what people are talking. I feel like everyone around me is way more concerned than I am, because I just don't have the time to keep watching everyone. I know John DePetro because he was there, so I know who he is. But other than that, I know other two people who are going above the line. It's not that they bother me, but they worry me a little bit. I have some concerns about them. The guy who investigated my family, my husband's family, and another guy who said
Grant Smith Ellis.
Yeah, and another person who said that he wished I'm dead, or he wished my kids are dead, something like that. So with those three people, DePetro and those two profiles, I do I'm watching them closely. But I'm not aware of what everything is. I can't keep it up. I have a life. I already stopped my life for the past 2 months, so I'm not keeping up with everything. But those guys, there is this three specific profiles that I know. My family, I have a cousin who is on Twitter, and she is sending me stuff about these people.
Boundless Millennial, Wolfgang Bodie, that one.
Bodie something.
His name is Matthew Doherty. He lives in Florida.
Oh, great. So I don't have much work. I
It's
mean, I know these
it's still
people
disturbing.
can raise hate against me, and someone in the neighborhood can be mad and be influenced by his comments or something. I'm aware. I'm not being like living la la land around all this. Today I was in a grocery shop. I was looking around. I was with my little one. I'm like observing who is around us. Someone is following me. All those things is on top of my head, but it's also not driving my life. I'm just living normal and having some posts here and there, not even posts, like answering people who is mentioning me. So I'm just answering them. I'm not taking lightly. I just like people commenting about my hair, my accent, my body, my feet. I just learned a new word yesterday. And whatever, like really, I really don't care about these people. Those who are referring to my family, I do care. And I'm watching them closely. Don't worry.
Good.
Going back to the question, Deliberation, Friday, we did nothing. Friday was pretty much a dead day because everybody just wanted to talk about it. We've been silent, over 8 weeks, I think, about this. So we all want to just express ourselves like, you saw that evidence, you saw that witness, you saw this, you saw that. So Friday was more like a...
What was the first thing you guys said when you went in that room? Who talked first, and what's the first thing you guys said?
I think it was the foreman. Like he wants, we sit down, we talk a little bit. Like we had, I think, 2 hours that day, but like at the first hour, we had to organize the chairs and the post-its and the thing we want to put around. It was a small room for 12 people, so there was way too many chairs for all the evidence.
Where were the alternates sitting? Were they
the
not
alternates
in the room?
went on the room next to us.
So they have to just sit in another room and do nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think they're playing chess. That's it.
Oh,
They don't exist. They don't exist. They only come in if something happens, then the deliberations have to start from square one.
Yeah. Wow. Horrible. Okay. So so that's the first day, and you guys are like, let's go home. Okay.
Yeah. First day, nothing much happened. On Monday, I think everybody had a weekend to think through to, put their heads in the right place. So we started organizing posters. We displayed charges so we all can remember what we are discussing. And we went through witness by witness. We start going witness by witness to answer
Witness by
questions.
witness. Okay.
Yeah. Because we want to answer questions. Some people had notes that I don't have, and I have notes that they don't have. So we wanted to confirm everything we have.
Was there a straw poll taken towards?
what?
Was there a straw poll taken at the beginning? Like, where do we all stand right now? Did anything
No.
like that happen? Nothing.
No, because the judge.
When did the first vote take place?
I think it was Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning. Nothing Tuesday.
Tuesday. I think Tuesday we vote one charge. One charge was voted on Tuesday.
Because you guys came back with a note on Tuesday that said that what do we do if we are acquitting on 2 charges but hung on a 3rd? What do we do? So that kind of indicates that you must have voted on those already by then, or else why would you ask?
No, we didn't vote. We want the question to be answered first, and then when the question came back, and then we took a vote where we stand. I think maybe we decided about the first charge on Tuesday, end of the day, but Wednesday was when everything happened, because Monday we're really going through and digging evidence and witness, and like really we weren't thinking make a decision on Wednesday. On Monday, because Monday, let's assume Monday was our first day. We want to go through everything. We don't want to skip the process just to take a vote.
Yeah, so the chat is informing me that Bev did tell you guys not to take a straw vote.
Yes.
Mark, is that common? Is that common? The judge telling them not to do a straw? Shouldn't they be allowed to impanel however they want?
No, I mean, frankly, a judge shouldn't do that. I mean, all a judge should do is tell a jury the rules of the road. The foreperson is the one to communicate, send notes, that sort of thing, but has no other additional powers. Other than that, usually what a judge should just say is go in there, be open to everyone's views. Obviously don't roll over. If you believe in something, stand on that, but be open to suggestion, just that sort of thing. But I mean, I can understand why she said don't do a straw poll, but that anything that involves telling a jury how to deliberate is really out of bounds for a judge, in my view. The jury does it. They're the fact finder. They can do it any way they want. I mean, if they want to determine in 20 minutes that the case is over. Not in a case like this, obviously, there's so much to go through. They could, but I mean, I had a trial but I was defense attorney. There was an acquittal in 30 minutes. I mean, it was just one of those things. It was an open and shut case. We're done. This was not that, but I think a jury should be able to do any way they want. And based on what Paula is saying, this is actually quite refreshing. It pretty much disabuses the notion of a lot of these yahoos out there who are suggesting that this was some kind of fix or nullification or whatever. This sounds extraordinarily thorough and organized and open to analyze everything. So that's just, as a lawyer, refreshing to hear.
Now, Juror 12 sat next to you the whole trial. She has also come forward and done an interview. I think her name is Janet Jimenez or something like that. She spoke with WCVB, and I thought it was interesting because she said that she was initially leaning towards guilty when she went into deliberations. Were there my question for you is, were there other jurors that were leaning towards guilty, and what did you guys do to persuade them to vote not guilty?
There was other jurors who come in with guilty for manslaughter, at least.
How many would you estimate?
I would say there were like maybe 3 jurors who were set on the guilty verdict, but another 3 were, I don't know, maybe
either way. Okay.
Yeah.
Open to, and there were about 6 that were leaning towards not guilty, and that includes you.
Yeah, and that's my impression, because again, we didn't have a vote in the beginning, so that's my impression by the comments people were making.
Okay,
so I really don't know what they think on the Monday morning, Friday, Tuesday morning even. I just, by my impression, the questions that they were asking, I estimate that.
So what persuaded some of these people to come around? What evidence was brought forward?
I watched the juror 12 talking. I think the problem is not what she believes or not, if she is really innocent or if she's just not guilty. And she saw with us that wasn't enough certain, how they say, beyond reasonable doubt to certain moral standard.
Yeah.
So we couldn't be certain that she did hit John, that the collision actually happened. We were pointing out the flaws in the investigation, the things that were missing, the holes and everything. And it wasn't like we're not trying to persuade them. We left clear that they should have their time and ask their questions. We wouldn't leave that room until they are sure of their answer. Mm-hmm. None of us pressure the jurors who were on the fence or thought she was guilty. We gave opportunities for them to talk and ask questions, and we discussed true.
Was there pressure to have some sort of conviction for the O'Keefe family? Because the last jury, that was the feedback that some of them had. They were hung on the second charge, and the feedback we got was that like a lot of them felt like seeing a grieving mother there, right? Like you want to make her, we have to give her something, right? Was there any pressure in that room did anybody vocalize anything like that? Like we need to do something for the O'Keefe family?
Absolutely not. Okay. No, not at all. We never brought that up. The moment we mentioned the O'Keefe family was when we come back after the verdict, saying, and then I came out crying, other ladies start crying too. That's why the moment's like, why are we crying? And we all said we're crying because we feel sorry for the family, because we feel for John O'Keefe and his family, and his mom, and his passion that was there every day. But we never mentioned like none of us felt pressure. I mean, that's again my impression. I can't talk for people, but didn't feel like we're being pressured.
You didn't. Nobody in the room ever said that. Come on, guys, we got to do something.
Got to do something. No, that was never said.
Because I believe that is a big reason why Karen Reed you might not have known this, but the DUI charge was not on the verdict form last trial. That did not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Karen Reed voluntarily put that on the form in case the jury was inclined to do something for the O'Keefe family, because that was the charge that carried the least prison sentence, right? It was the least serious of all the charges because nobody died in that charge, right? And it seems as if it worked because she was convicted of that, which brings me to my next question. What the hell took you guys so long? Because like there was like 24 hours there where it seemed like you guys were solely stuck on the DUI charge. It seemed to be the only thing that you guys were debating.
No, it
No?
wasn't that. Like I
Okay.
said, I think Monday we just dig in everything, and Tuesday we decided the first charge, the second-degree murder, not guilty, unanimous, but no argument, and then that was Tuesday, right? And then Wednesday we still discussing the manslaughter and
Really?
and the third charge.
The third
And so we
charge
went.
too.
Say again?
The third charge too, leaving the scene of an accident.
Yes,
You
because
guys-
if it was a collision and she knew, she left the scene. So the second and the third were kind of connected. So we got rid of the third first and worked through the second. But I think was from my memory, I might be wrong, other jurors can say with more certain, but from my memory was Wednesday morning, we really start to dig in the second charge and get to the not guilty for everything except for the drive under influence.
That's
Because we
interesting.
already have we already had evidence. We look into everything. We already get rid of the second-degree murder. So we are ready. And then the process, like, it took what, 1 day, 6-8 hours for us to go through pretty much the second charge. Because we are confident from everything we saw during the other 2 days, Monday and Tuesday.
So the first charge is murder. Murder means she did it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but like murder, second-degree murder, the difference between that and manslaughter is that you did it on purpose and like your goal was to kill.
Doesn't have to be an intent to kill. It has to be an intent to do the act in which you did, and that the consequences of that act, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, were so obvious. So in other words, if she intended to slam the vehicle into reverse in 24 miles an hour, and that was a deliberate, intentional act, knowing he was right there, and then he ends up getting hit and dies, you know, under Massachusetts law, you could come up with a theory of murder, which is essentially what he argued in his summation about an intent to do the act, and it's just incredibly reckless. I mean, you heard the example of chucking the rock over the bridge or whatever the hell that was. So, I mean, the murder charge is not your classic, I am looking to kill someone. I mean, I don't think anybody would seriously suggest the evidence show.
Now, Paula, you guys were an impressive jury when it came to note taking. Like, first of all, not all 18 of you, not one person dropped. That's amazing. Okay. Nobody was eliminated the entire time, which was just crazy to think about. And you guys took notes the entire time. And some of this testimony is boring. Like, do you remember if I say the name Ashley Valere? Do you know who that is?
I do remember because
Okay, you do remember her. Okay,
yeah,
I'm
the
just
lady with the short hair, right?
Yes. So that one backfired. But my point was that I'm trying to make here is some of that she put pieces together. Like that was her testimony. I took pieces and I put them together. Some of the testimony was a little like, what about Dr. Fowler? Do you remember Dr. Fowler?
No.
Okay, good. Because that guy is a low talker and he's extremely quiet and extremely boring. How do you stay awake through some of this stuff?
Trying to take notes actually helped me to be awake and alert. A way for me to really understand something has always been writing down things. That's my way of studying since I'm a child. So just be taking notes that helps me to maintain myself awake. And look, it was boring, some stuff. Yes, it was, but we need to pay attention to the details.
Mm-hmm.
The seriousness of this charge, me deciding someone's life, she's gonna go to jail for the rest of her life or not, it's super serious. Like I can't give myself a chance to sleep. I go to bed early, I wake up, I'm there, and I'm gonna be alert. Coffee and energy drinks, and I keep going.
That is great, that Mark, that this jury took their job so seriously. It gives me faith in the jury system.
As a lawyer, yeah, to hear this, this is actually very encouraging. I mean, this is exactly if your life was in the balance, what you would want 12 citizens doing is they deliberate your fate. And certainly if you believe the evidence is on your side, then there's no shame and no concern with having them go through it and discuss it. I think it's fascinating that over the course of 4 days, as you went through this, that there was no note to the jury about we're struggling or we're deadlocked. What are we going to do? The first jury, that was the problem. That happened a lot. And I don't know what you're familiar with before the second trial or not. It's pretty interesting when you see what you didn't get that the first jury did. But the deliberations, to hear it like this is what a jury should do. And this should just put it to bed about all this Twitter nonsense about what was going on in the jury room. This is exactly what should happen in a jury room.
And that leads me to my next question now that you mention it. So there is a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't get to see, okay? And I got to be honest with you. I watched both trials, every single minute of it. The first trial was way more entertaining. You guys missed some of the best witnesses. Like, have you heard about Trooper Paul? Do you know who Trooper Paul is?
I heard his name, but I don't know his role in the investigation now.
Oh, so Trooper Paul is the lead. He was before Judd Welcher. Judd Welcher wasn't in the last trial, and because of Trooper Paul, because he is a state police detective who he has trouble public speaking or something, and Alan Jackson cross-examined him, and he asked, "Have you seen any of this testimony since?"
No.
Okay, you got to sit down and watch it. So, because he had to explain how John O'Keefe got hit by a car. And Alan Jackson asked him, so you're telling me that he stuck his arm out, he got hit, and then he did a pirouette in midair, and then he hit his head on the cement, and then landed 30 feet this way? And he's like, yes. And then Alan asked him, well, how did the phone get underneath his body? And he said, it just did. So you didn't get he was the worst witness I've ever seen, and you missed it, which is why Hank Brennan called Judd Welcher. What did you think of Judd Welcher?
Look, I'm not going to criticize his decisions and his business and his whole career. He might be good in what he does, but in this case specifically, I think he did a very poor job, especially for the amount of money he was paid. The painting test didn't improve much, except for the fact that the arm could reach the car. I mean, I did the same thing when we went to visit the Fairville, the house. I did the same thing. I stopped in front of the Lex. I mean, on the back of the Lexus, I put my hand. I kind of like imagine how tall he was and see if he would hit. I did the same thing for free, and so didn't make a difference actually.
Did you think that he came across as cocky at all, or arrogant? Like, did his personality bother you at all? Because he seemed very combative and just not whereas the defense witnesses were very agreeable and likable. Did he bother you at all, his personality?
No, because I can put myself in his shoes. He's being questioning, and then people are trying to take things out of him that's going to be uncomfortable to say. So he's reacting a little aggressive maybe, but didn't bother me. For example, Dr. Russell, I think the cross-examination was horrible. I mean, as a lawyer, I think he did good, but was hard to watch because she was offended the way he was talking to her, and she was trying to keep it up. Dr.
Laposata.
Dr. Laposata, her answers was fire straight, she didn't let him put her down at all, and wasn't uncomfortable, was okay to watch. She didn't pass me the vibe of being arrogant or anything. She was just standing, just like Dr. Welcher did. But he was, in my opinion, he didn't have much of a baseline to be being so confident and proud.
So you like Dr. Laposata?
I loved
her. That's great, because I loved her too. I thought she was my favorite witness. What did you like about her?
That how she didn't bend for anybody. She was answering the questions straight, because that's the thing. When someone doesn't want to answer, they keep going on and on and on and don't say anything, right? No, she was answering straight and no fear and not bending for anyone, and extremely knowledgeable. I didn't doubt the things she was saying. It did feel like she's on top of her game. She knows well. She's a doctor. She's research. She had the tangible knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Now it's the last jury. When I spoke with one of the jurors afterwards, he said that the worst witness for either side was Lucky Loughran, the plow driver. which I thought was horrible. What did you think of Lucky Loughran, the plow driver?
I think he did great. I mean, what he had to say was what we want to confirm. If the guy had that huge truck, drove by the street, and he drives a little bit to the side because he need to put the snow on the side of the street, and he didn't see a man in the size of John O'Keefe, I mean, I took his testimony very seriously. I don't know why people. I heard people are calling him Lucky or something.
That's his nickname.
There's-
That's his nickname. That's his nickname. Is
Okay,
Lucky.
yeah, that is. I feel like that is something that I don't know about him that people are making fun of him before.
No, they're not making fun of him. He likes being called that.
Okay.
That's his nickname. Yeah.
But feel like, but in court when he took the stand, I took him very seriously. I really like his testimony.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's funny because during his testimony, the cross-examination, Hank Brennan brought up and asked him, have you ever been threatened by an online blogger? Did you know who he was talking about?
Well, if you were asking me, that was you.
But at the time, did you guys know who he was talking about? Okay.
No.
Did that come up during the juror deliberation? I think I've read somewhere that you might have mentioned that like I was brought up somehow during juror deliberations. Was it about that?
No, we just want to know who you were. None of us knew your face.
None of you.
I think.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Well,
I'm
not insulted. I'm not insulted.
No, it's because
come on.
We were chosen because we're not following social media. We're not following the local news, so we don't know who none of you are. We
No,
didn't
that's
know
good.
Who Kearney Reed were.
Well, you said that Turtleboy was an environmental issue. I saw you say. You thought
I moved here last year, but I swear, my family's my witness. I moved here last year, and sometimes I drove through the courthouse and that, and like just taking my kids to a park or something, and I see some protesters, free Turtleboy, and then free whatever, and then I thought it was like, wow, that's probably an environmental thing. Maybe they have some turtle issues in Massachusetts that I'm not aware. I'm talking about I just moved here. It was like March last year, April last year. I had no clue who you were. Why you chose this name though? You don't
so
sell
funny.
yourself. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't expect you to know who I am. I just thought it was funny. You thought it was an environmental issue.
I did. I told this people on the jury. You came up because you want to know your face. I think someone probably saw you before and knew and point out the guy with the shirt X, Y, and don't even remember. But I didn't know your face until I got home Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, interesting.
Can I ask,
say, Mark?
I just want to ask one question before I forget, and I want to ask another question because this is like really eating me up. When Dr. Rentschler testified at the end during his cross-examination, and he testified that it took him 10 minutes to eat a ham sandwich, did you find that credible?
I've seen the jokes about the ham sandwich already. Irrelevant. You know, in my point of view, I know the lawyers are trying to make the witness nervous and make them lose it and try to get anything from them. So I don't give any weight to those type of comments and, you know, lawyers trying to poke them. I know they're training for that. I know how to do that. So I don't take in consideration.
Was that offensive that he kept doing that to witness after witness? I mean, Brennan.
I think he didn't have much option, right? He didn't have anything to cross him with. So let's try to break him. I think that was what he had in mind. And look, you probably know that maybe you would do the same as an attorney. Sometimes you don't have where to go, need to find something. I'm not going to criticize Brandon because I don't know his work prior to this. I don't know what he's involved with, but I try to understand as a professional, like where he was coming from.
Well, we do many things, but I can assure you the one thing that I would never do is cross-examine an engineer or PhD about the time it took him to eat a ham sandwich and whether that made him biased.
Did that work? Like, did anybody in the deliberation say, well, guys, I don't know if these doctors are credible. They might have been bought off with a ham sandwich.
No, we joke that we're just joking inside. That's like we hope the ham sandwich was better than our lunch. That's pretty much our comment.
It probably was. None
of us took those moments like seriously. Just gave the vibe, the impression that Brenda was kind of lost and he doesn't have anything to say, and let's just attack.
So I'm going to play you. This is Trooper Paul. You didn't get to meet him. This is a short 38-second clip that you missed.
Who told you?
As crime scene that was there, it says his glass from the cup. When I did my initial inspection, that's what it was on from.
That's not what you just said. You said that's what was told to me.
Yeah, by crime. No, yeah, I can see by crime scene. While I was at my inspection.
Wait, what?
It was told to me by the crime scene.
The crime scene talked to him
at my inspection, at the initial inspection.
So what you meant by that's what was told to me is the crime scene talked to you.
Yes.
I see dead people.
Crime scene say anything else?
I don't know what else you want me to say.
That's why he wasn't brought back. That's because that didn't go very well. It was like that the whole time. And let's talk about some other witnesses that you missed. So I don't know, Mark. I would say the top 3 that you missed were Colin Albert, Michael Proctor, and Brian Higgins. Like those were good ones.
I mean, obviously Proctor is the boogeyman that everybody wants to hear from. I mean, I think that Colin Albert is more interesting, but in the grand scheme, certainly less significant.
Mm-hmm.
I would think Brian Albert and Brian Higgins too would be pretty big ones. If I'm a juror. I mean, no, if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong. Nobody with the last name Albert testified at this entire trial.
Not one. Not
a single Albert at the first trial. I mean, like all 19 of them. It felt like testified.
There were 19 of them.
No, I'm not exaggerating.
No, there's a lot.
There's a lot. There's not 19. And, by not having Brian, you certainly should do this, not me, Aidan, but by not having Brian Higgins and Brian Albert, there's so much of that other stuff that, the jury.
Let's talk about that. So since this trial has ended, you've obviously been on X a lot. You've been reading up on this. Have you heard about the 222 phone call and the butt dials and butt answer while Brian Albert was having sex with his wife, Nicole Albert? Have you heard about that?
No, that's new.
So yeah. And I think that they didn't bring this all up for a few. Mark thought they should have brought them in. And I, as a viewer, obviously wanted to see this, but they think that the defense just kind of wanted to simplify things for you guys and didn't want to confuse you. Because there was a phone call. So Brian Albert and Brian Higgins said that earlier testified that they both just went to bed. But then the FBI got their phones, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but the FBI got their phones and found out that they talked on the phone for 22 seconds at 2:22 in the morning when they both previously said that they were sleeping. So at the trial, they were asked, what is with this phone call? You said that you were sleeping. And Brian Higgins said that he butt dialed Brian Albert while he was sleeping. And Brian Albert said that he butt answered it while he was having sex with his wife, Nicole, and that they had a 22-second phone call. You didn't know about that?
Wow.
Would that have helped you? Would that have confused you bringing stuff like that up? Or like, because that's the big difference between this trial and the last trial is the first trial, the defense went heavy on the conspiracy. They showed how shady all these people were acting. And whereas in this trial, it was more about the science and the physics. There was no Dr. Laposata did not testify at the first trial. There was a couple other witnesses that didn't testify at the first trial. But they were much heavy. It was much more about like, he wasn't hit by a car in this trial. Do you think that simplified things for you?
I mean, they just had to prove the reasonable doubt, right? So I think it was a good strategy. Yes, just plant this doubt on our heads, show us the holes of the investigation, the things that didn't add up, didn't make sense much, rather than create another the person, rather than find out who did it, because our job is not find out who did it. That's something we actually talk a lot in Deliberation, because as we discuss, so this happened. We're like, we don't need to know what happened. We need to know if Karen did something, if she's responsible. So we really had to concentrate, because we all have opinions, of course, but we have to concentrate and not let our opinions out and just pay attention on the reasonable doubt.
So let me play devil's advocate here for a minute and come from the other side, right? they're obsessed with the text stream data, and they say, but the car went in reverse 87 feet at 12:31, and then the phone never moved again. Did you guys discuss that, and how did you get around that?
I'm really sorry I don't have my notes in here because I made like a timeline perfect. First of all, the first problem with the texting data was they changed the data during the trial, right? That was brought up.
So that was
right?
shady. You thought that was
Yes. So
Oh.
I think Shannon
Man. Yeah, we just call him Man Shannon. That's his nickname.
mentioned with my respect.
Yeah. You can call him Shannon Burgess if you want, or Burger, or whatever you want. Yeah.
So Mr. Burgess, he was Alan Jackson, I think, was brought up that he sent an email to Brandon in beginning of May, so the trial already started, and why that evidence was in the middle of the trial. I was confused by that. I didn't trust much what he has to say, just by the fact that the thing were brought up in the mid-trial. I just discredit right there. Maybe because I understand a little bit of the trial, the legal system or something. I don't know. I'm not going to accept this. I couldn't imagine that was acceptable. And
that's music to my ears. I just want to say that because that is, we were all hoping that you guys took that you would say that that's weird and strange that they're changing their story mid-trial. I'm glad to hear that.
It's never
happens. Yeah.
Never happens. So, and that a change brought out like space in time. Like there was a 12 second, I think 10 seconds where something could happen. It's not like a certain number. She back up at 12:33:57 and then his phone stopped 12:33:58. It wasn't like this. There was like a period of time where the car came back, considering the variation of the clock of his phone, the clock of the car, and I think was something around 10 seconds. So something happened on those 10 seconds, but it's not like sharp data that his phone stopped moving right after the car ending. No, let me rephrase that. It's not like specific data and time, one specific date and time that states that the car backing up and at the same time his phone stopped moving. I made it clear.
Right. No, I get it. There's no one
single time. It was like a period of time.
Right. Okay.
A period of time who leave John O'Keefe may be walking after she took off.
Interesting. Okay. Do you know about, I think you mentioned in Jess Machado's interview that you did know about the FBI, or because they mentioned agents, and I think it was Kelly Deaver that mentioned.
No, before that was Jim McCabe. She said she was another.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it was Jim McCabe. Another entity show up on her door, and then she.
And you guys knew it. And you guys knew it was FBI.
You guys, I don't know. I knew.
But what did you think the FBI was doing? That's my question. What did you think? Because I always said that even if the jury does know about the FBI's involvement in this, who would ever guess that? How does the jury know that the FBI is not also investigating Karen Reed? Like, how did you know? What did you think the FBI was doing?
I don't know. I don't know if their investigation continued or ended. Didn't dig into this part. I understand it was FBI, and I assume it was because it's police, Canton police, and then maybe the FBI wanna look what was going on with the state police or.
So you thought that the state police were under investigation by the FBI?
Yeah, that was my assumption.
Wow, that's a hell of an assumption. That's amazing that you figured that out. That's impressive.
Is that true? Is that why?
That's what they were doing. That's exactly what they were doing. Ding, 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 ding. You got it.
It's because I assume for the FBI to get in, it's because they want to know what the police is doing in the case. It's not much about Kerry. That was my assumption.
That's a smart assumption. It's a very smart assumption. Let me talk here. So like a lot of these trolls, so you have an accent, right? And because of that, I'm seeing a lot of the stuff I'm seeing is quite frankly racist. It's disgusting, especially the DePetro stuff and saying stuff like that about your accent. But did having, obviously English is not your first language, right? Which, by the way, isn't a problem when Yuri Buchanan says that English is his third language. That's not a
Could
problem.
ask a dictionary to all
Right.
Jackson.
You didn't need, yeah, it's right. You didn't ask Alan Jackson for a dictionary. That's true. Was it an issue in the deliberating room? Did the language did you have a tough time communicating with other jurors because of that? Could they understand everything you were saying and vice
No,
versa?
I didn't. I'm self-conscious about my accent and how clear I sound. I message you that. Like, I apologize in advance if you guys have to rephrase me, especially when I'm on camera or something. Like, of course, for me, it's a new experience. I don't have public speaking talking, so I was able to stand up and say what I think and explain everything with calm. Nobody was recording me at the moment, so I could come back and try to be clear. I had no problem. The only thing for me, specifically at the end, as we are discussing the last charge we need to decide, which was, of course, the driving under influence, I wrote something because I'm much better expressing myself writing than speaking, in my opinion. So I made like a little chart or something to show what I meant. So it was to be sure that everybody got it and I was being understood.
Well, I understand.
But that was just one moment that
so,
happened.
yeah.
I didn't feel people weren't understanding me. I didn't feel I shouldn't talk because I was, ashamed or something, embarrassed. No, that was the only moment that we were already overwhelmed. We want to finish. We are on just one last trial. Everybody's talking over one another. And then I make a note so people could understand me.
Okay. And that brings me to the next question. So you guys passed in the verdict and then you asked for it back. What is the story behind that?
No story. We have to discuss something else, and the paper, the verdict that the judge have sealed in a paper is exactly the same one we had.
Then why did you ask for it back?
We didn't ask back. We had the verdict with us in the room. Yes.
So let me get this straight. You came up with the verdict. You were all done. You gave it to the court officer, and then, then you knocked again. Somebody knocked again and said, "Hold on."
No, we didn't give. That's not how it works. We don't give to the court officer. The judge advises not to talk what happened in deliberation. So I'm gonna be a little evasive, okay? But in general, we didn't give anything to the court officer because the envelope needs to stay with us, and we had the envelope with us all the time. And as we continue discussing, other questions were raised, and we wanted to talk about those questions. And we called the officer and said, "Look, I think we need a little bit more time to discuss something," without telling him what it was or anything. So he left and told the judge, "Look, they had a verdict and they don't anymore." And then she asked to bring the paper to her and give us a new one. And then we signed exactly the same thing that was on the first one.
So, Mark, it sounds like Aunty Bev kind of lied a little bit about what happened there. No?
Oh, God.
If that's what actually happened?
I'm not going to say that. All I'm going to do is say my recollection, and if I'm wrong, someone will correct me, was when she brought the lawyers to court, she said there was a verdict and there was a slip, and it was given to the court staff. And then that happened sometime maybe over the lunch break, and before anything could happen, that the jury communicated that there was not a verdict or words to the effect of "we need to change something." And then there was a second knock, if you will, and the first slip was sealed, as it remains to this day, and then said the verdict was 5-10 minutes after she had indicated there wasn't a verdict, but she indicated the slip was given, and then there was a notification that there was no verdict.
But I think it is part of the process, from what I understood. At first, the envelope stayed with us because we need to bring to court and read it, right? But since we didn't use that envelope, then we gave it to her, and then Cecilia didn't put it away.
I see. Okay.
I mean, it was unique. It's something that, so many lawyers watch this case, and in hundreds and hundreds, thousands of years of combined experience, I have not talked to a single lawyer who has ever seen anything like the judge bringing the parties back, saying we had a verdict, but not really, and that's going to be sealed, and they're going to go back because we didn't publish it. They're going to go back and deliberate, and people watching were just couldn't
we
believe
didn't leave. We did not go to the court to give that piece of paper. It was just the court officer who gave. We had more things to discuss. Basically, that was it.
Interesting. Have you seen, since this trial ended, my juror rankings by any chance?
No.
Okay.
Oh yes, I'm number one.
You are number one.
My cousin sent to me.
You just afterwards, I assume, not during, right? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So like, I'll tell you what, I loved this jury, and the reason that you were my top ranked juror was because of the amount you took notes. You were very attentive, and it was just the way that you reacted to stuff. Like you took, I forget what it was, but it was something Dr. Laposata said that you just wrote it down, and it was just like, and during the closing, I don't know if you noticed this, but during the closing, you were when Hank was doing his closing, you looked at your lap a couple times, but when Alan gave his closing, your eyes were on him the whole time. Did you realize that you were looking at your lap when Hank Brennan was given? A couple times you did it during Hank Brennan's closing.
No, it was automatic. I didn't note because I didn't take notes. We cannot take notes, right? So I think maybe if I'm not taking notes, I need some another distraction and looking down, something like that.
Yeah. And so the other, like when I looked at this jury, when I saw that the 12 of you that were left over, there was 5 women on that jury how old are you? Can I ask? You got to be young 30s tops.
I love it. People think we are so young. No, I'm 39 and a half.
Well, you look much younger. I'm gonna be very honest with
Thank you.
And like it just looked like a lot of the women on the jury were younger women. At least 5 of them were, and 2 of the males were definitely under 30. Juror number 4 and juror number 14.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, what were those 2 jurors like? The young men, were they vocal? Did they have to be like convinced to come around? Were they leaders? What was it like with the younger people?
I think you mentioned some of your posts that you thought those jurors were maybe the 14 one was easy to manipulate, maybe because I got that vibe from it. It's completely unknown. He could be the strongest person in the room. I don't know. What was he like, that kid? He was very young. No, he was active and present and stayed his peace of mind and letting us know what he thinks. None of the jurors were just sit back and listen to. The other jury, who is the 4 who already spoke out, Jason, he also young but present, and he didn't sit back.
He had his seat moved during the trial. He was the juror that had his seat moved because he was sitting 2 seats away from you, and he was talking a lot, it seemed, and he had his seat moved over that. But
it wasn't because of that.
Oh, that's not why. Why did he have a seat moved? Can you say?
No, I love you were asking questions that nobody asked. No, it's not. No conspiracy there.
Why?
Because the lady who was behind, who had to switch with him, she wasn't able to hear well. So that's why.
That's interesting. See, we learned something.
Yeah.
I apologize to juror number 4. I thought I assumed it was because he was talking. Because
that happened, that meeting that she called everyone individually to explain something, that happened a day after, I think, me, the lady next to me, the 10, so he was 9, right? Yeah, 9, 10,
he was
11.
9. He was 9, yeah. And 10 was the
so the 3 of us start laughing at some point, and some people comment that and why they were laughing, and then like a day later, 2 days later, they switch seats. The judge have to call us. What happened that day? We are laughing. I think it was Bukkake. Alan Jackson gave him like this size piece of evidence or text messages for him to read or something. And then the judge asked, you don't want him to read everything, right? And I'm like, I do, yes. He's going to read the whole thing. That's when we cracked because it was a lot. That's all what happened. There's nothing extra.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let me ask you about Paul O'Keefe. So he, during the trial, had his seat moved. He was not allowed to sit in that position anymore. And I've been told through very reliable sources that one of the jurors complained about the way that he was looking at her. Do you know anything about that?
No, I doubt, to be honest.
Were you uncomfortable at all with Paul O'Keefe or anything like that during? Or did you have any thoughts on him?
No, I like to observe people a lot, so I look at him a lot, his family, his friends, and same thing with the Kearney family, and the press too. I assume Sue was the one taking notes on us because she would look at us and take notes. I was like sharp observing people's behavior, but nobody ever mentioned anything negative or uncomfortable about his family at all. If anything, we would comment about the people who would come. I think how we call them, the Karen Reading supporters sometimes come and sit on the back, right next to her family. And then I think John Keefe's family also has different people coming every other day.
Right.
Yeah, so those guests, I would say those guests, we sometimes will comment on those guests, like, wow, these people are here every day. Why? These people, are they family? Are they lawyers? Those things like that.
But you guys didn't talk about that during the trial. You waited till after, during deliberations to talk about that. You weren't allowed to talk about stuff like that, were you?
No, we just, that was like what impressions of the courtroom. That's what we mentioned.
Okay, so you were allowed to talk about stuff like that during.
Yeah,
okay.
we just like,
Yeah.
It's too hot, it's too loud, it's too cold, this type of thing.
What'd you guys talk about? I mean, if you can't talk about the trial, what the hell do you talk about? Your family life?
Our families, yeah, we are giving all our secrets in that room.
Was there a lot of other moms like you in the room that were like had kids at home and stuff?
Yeah, there was one specific lady. I think I don't know if she works outside. She just a stay-home mom like me. I think most of the ladies had kids, except the younger ones.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask. I have so many questions. So juror number 5 in the back, we call him the smirker. I don't know if you remember who he was. He had like glasses and he was like a middle-aged man. You probably couldn't see him because you were sitting in front, but
I couldn't hear him.
He loved Alan Jackson. He would look at him with a big smirk on his face every time. What was he? We predicted he was one of my top ranked jurors for the defense. Was he solid? Like when you got in there, was he, or did he have to be convinced that Karen was not guilty?
No, he was very inclined to not guilty.
Okay, so we were right. Okay, cool. Now let's talk about the foreman, who I think is the most interesting man in America. The foreman did not take any notes the entire trial, not once. But he paid attention to everything. And he was just a really interesting kind of guy. Even when he was asked even the verdict, he's like, sure. Sure. Like he seems like what was the foreman like? Was he a leader? Would you describe him as like the leader of the group, or what was he like?
Yes, he was the leader. And I also was surprised when she picked him for the foreman. Someone told me that she always picked the first juror.
She does. She did that in the last trial too. She did pick that. So there's
So and then I was like, oh, okay. Because at first I thought like, why someone would choose the only person who didn't have any note. But then they said she likes to choose the number 1, and he have an incredible memory. He was better than us with our 3 notebooks. He remembered data. Yeah, he's great. He remembered numbers. It's amazing. We all praise him for that.
Really? That's fascinating. That's so cool. Mark, that's award-winning journalism. Nobody else got that scoop right there about the foreman. Yeah. That's what we all kind of wanted to know. Because the guy took no notes, but he remembers everything. That's wild.
He was really good.
That's interesting.
Well, not every trial.
We're good. We are all we are a really good group. I think everybody with your opinions and expertise and life stories we could account, or life experience we could account to choose if she was guilty or not. Because the judge said we can base your own experiences and common sense. But we are very respectful, bright, intelligent group. I mean, I'm glad I was part of this group, and I don't want to try again and not be that lucky.
Was there anyone in the group that really was resistant to not guilty? Who was the last person to come around?
I don't think I can say that.
Oh, you can't say that. Okay.
Yeah.
What can you say? It was a man, right? It had to be a man.
Why?
Because I think I know which one it was. I think it was juror number 3. He just seemed like, okay, that's just my guess. But again, I could be completely off. I could be reading these people all wrong.
You think was juror number 3?
Yeah, he just seemed like I couldn't get a read on him the whole trial. I didn't know what to think of him.
Oh, I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna keep you the question mark for you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're gonna keep us wondering. I'm trying to reach some of these jurors. Do you talk to any of them? I've sent a couple of them emails, and you are the only one I've heard back from.
Yeah, I think people tend to be very reserved.
Oh, do we lose her? Oh, hope she comes right back. She'll be right back, I'm sure. She's an impressive lady, huh, Mark?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is what you would, again, we're being repetitive, but this is what you want in a juror. I mean, just, this is great to hear, and it really should disabuse a lot of the online nonsense.
Yeah, and I think that, I think a reason I haven't heard from any other jurors is that they're watching what's happening to her, and they're like, I'm not signing up for that.
I mean, why would you, right? I mean, she's getting just, yep, I think she's back.
You back, Paula? Do we lose you?
We got a picture.
Yeah, I'll send her a. What? Let's see. I'll send her a text. Hold on. Where'd she go? Did we lose you?
I'm dying to know. Gonna go watch the first.
Oh, there we go. You're dying to know what, Mark?
If you're gonna go watch the first trial.
Yeah, are you gonna watch the first trial?
Yes, I want to watch the first trial, and especially I want to watch the 3 people that didn't come this time: Michael Proctor, Brian.
Oh, there's like 30 people. Like, there's a lot more. Wait, there's a guy named Tristan Morris that you've probably never heard. Do you know who Tristan Morris is? Yeah, you're gonna like his testimony. But go ahead. What are you saying?
Yeah, I don't know why calling is important in this trial. Calling Albert, I didn't hear about him yet.
He's not that important. He's just ridiculous. Like, he
has much time to dig in everything. And look, my connection is losing right now because I'm receiving a lot of unknown calls, and since yesterday, and I don't know what it is, but it didn't happen before.
Unbelievable, huh, Mark? I mean, this is obviously related to that.
I mean, it's tough to ignore that kind of evidence, that you get all these kind of calls from unknown numbers out of the blue after, you go public and what's going on. Yeah, I mean, that's hard to believe.
Yeah, it started yesterday, and then today before I come to your show, I got 3 of them. I answered one, nobody said anything, and now it's coming again.
Wow, okay. What did you think of Jess Machado? She's the first person that you spoke with on the record. She got the scoop. I was fascinated by her interview with you. I think a couple of things I was most fascinated with were the fact that, number one, what you thought of Kelly Deaver, who was probably the most controversial person in this whole trial.
Ever. Don't call her Deaver.
I know she doesn't. All right, let's start with her. I know you said it with Jess, but what did you think of Officer Dever?
I think the police is getting mad at me because I'm talking about the officers to start. But her behavior in court was uncomfortable to watch. I can see that she's young and maybe she's not, she didn't reach the level of maturity you need to be under pressure, maybe. But she was so aggressive and rude. And the false memory she have, like, didn't sound good for us. I have false memory of what I ate this morning. I don't remember if it was egg or bread. I don't have a false memory of seeing 2 people for 2 hours. I don't know, for a long time with a car that was part of a crime. That's a very detailed false memory. So I don't think I didn't take her serious. I just note in my notebook things like some officers, they were so nervous in court that I just note, like, he's very nervous, he's making a fist, he's biting his lips, he's scared, he's sweaty. And then these people, I mean.
So it's really interesting that you say that, and because she was not called in the first trial, even though they had all this information in the first trial. She was a gamble. And she was somebody that, like, there was a risk taking her because she's their witness, but she's hostile towards them. So, Mark, it sounds like that paid off based on the feedback I'm getting from her on Kelly Deaver. That was a gamble that paid off, it sounded like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the way a lot of us looked at it, again, from the outside. Ultimately, what the jury thinks is the only thing that matters. But, The idea that a false memory about Brian Higgins and the chief of the Canton Police hanging out in the Sally Port for hours or whatever it was the day this happened, to have that go from telling the FBI, which is, that's a significant thing. You can't lie to the FBI. It's a crime. And it worked. I mean, it worked with Kerry Roberts. It worked with Dever. I mean, it works. That intimidation factor of don't lie to us. Ultimately, with Jen McCabe, it worked. She came clean, right? And then for her to claim that became a false memory after, well, let me put it this way. Did you feel that she had been pressured by the Boston police to change her story?
If I feel, yes. Because my feeling is subjective, so I do feel, yes. Based on my life experience and the things I've seen in life, yes, for sure.
Yeah, and I think anyone who does this for a living would tell you this is obvious. And I think if the jury recognized that she was pressured, changed it into a false memory, that all it does is make what she told the FBI appear more credible. And I would imagine, I'd be curious what jurors would think of this, but when she comes in there and appears to be lying to kind of protect the prosecution, how that fits in the overall theme of what the defense was arguing about the tail light being planted and all that other stuff. I mean, that's got to be a double whammy, I would think, for the prosecution with the whole Dever fiasco.
Yeah. And speaking of the tail light, what did you think of Officer Barros? Because we love Officer Barros around here.
Yeah, he's definitely his testimony was credible. He was sound and calm and straight in the answers. I know Brennan trying to get him in a lie in the end, like the last few questions, but didn't change the fact that his opinion is similar to my opinion and to other jurors' opinion. When he said that he saw, that phrase was horrible. I'm so sorry. When he mentioned that the tail light was cracked and has missing a piece of a size of a dollar bill, for example, that made sense because when she leaves the house at 5:07 and we see her car lights going on, you see too much red for you to have a huge piece missing. And so
the diffusers, there you go.
The diffusers, yes.
There you go.
And you know what's awesome about that is Hank Brennan entered that into evidence in his closing. He's the one that put that 507 video up there. And what you're saying is, yeah, we looked at it and we determined that it was not completely broken at that point.
Yeah, and the other witness that actually was a Commonwealth witness but helped us was the lady who did the biopsy, Dr. Bello.
Scordi Bello. Oh, she was
Yes.
wonderful. Yes.
I love it. At the end, she come and say, so he was hit by a car? No, there's no sign he was hit. We can prove he was hit by a car. It's like, she's the Commonwealth witness and she can't say he was hit by a car. So.
Yeah, that was a problem. Man, I love this.
That's
jury.
A big reasonable doubt right there.
Do you understand how refreshing it is to hear the things that you're saying right now from this jury? Because the last jury we spoke to, I did an interview with a really nice guy by the name of Ronnie, and you got to watch that interview because nothing he said made sense. All they cared about was that she was the last one. She dropped them off, that she was drinking, that they were both kind of in the same place, and she had a broken taillight, so it had to be her. That was the totality of their deliberations, it sounded like.
None of us know exactly what happened. Maybe the people involved know, but we don't know who they are. But there was so many possibilities. Why his phone stopped? You can get out of the car after have a bunch of drinks because he was intoxicated, and you can drop your phone. You can get off of the car, and I mean, even cross our mind there could be a terrible, tragic accident and nobody was involved. There's so many possibilities that raise the reasonable doubt for us. So many things could happen. People are like mocking me because of my theory and everything. It's just a theory because it's a wide range of possibilities.
I didn't see your tear. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I didn't look at any of your reactions. That was the most emotional experience of my life. It was the most, tense I've ever felt in a courtroom ever. Did you feel the same way? You were in the same room as me. Did you feel the same way in there? Was that like so tense?
It was tense. During the trial, other moments were tense, but yeah, that moment, not guilty, not guilty, and people screaming outside, that was tense. That's when I broke down.
Yeah, like so you guys go in there and you are about to deliver news that the O'Keefe family is not going to like, right? And you're looking right at them. What's that like?
Awful. I know they probably hate all of us right now and the system and everybody else, but I really hope they can see for themselves what we saw. I don't know how family, if they can have access to this case, if the public information they can dig in, whatever. I don't know what's gonna give them peace, but I assure you and them that we could not prove that was her. There were people who got inside the deliberation that want to guilt her, and we couldn't. There wasn't a. We can't prove a collision. That's the bottom line. If there was a collision, it's not her fault.
Yeah. So a lot of people like you just said that, you want to let them know, like you feel bad, but like, it's not your fault. Like you guys did the best that you could. You came up with the verdict based on the evidence. Would you say to the O'Keefe family that if it's Michael Proctor's fault, it's the state police's fault, like don't blame us, blame them?
Yeah, I think I already said that when Jessica first asked me those questions. Like, we didn't fail them, but was the police who did. And I'm not gonna. I mentioned like the Commonwealth did too, but I'm not gonna even mention the Brendan and the lawyers involved, because again, I don't know them and their story and how they're involved in all this. But they worked with the evidence was given to them, right? The case was presented by the police for them to prosecute and find the who did it. In the case, the investigation was sloppy. The investigation was full of questions. Was for so many police officers involved and people with a lot of experience, and you not gonna write reports on time. You're not gonna secure the place. You're not gonna put a GPS measurement where your evidence were found. You're not gonna freaking go inside the house the person died.
So you thought that was a red
course,
flag.
that's bias right there. Just because the guy is a cop and probably everybody know he was a cop, so we're not gonna go bother them. I've talked too much.
No, you're talking excellent. And I love the words that are coming out of your mouth right now, because that's what we're all saying is, why didn't they go in the house? And Detective Gallagher, or I don't know, Lieutenant Gallagher, and one other cop witness, I forget, maybe it was Bukkake.
Gallagher's the guy who got the cups, the red cups.
Yes, he's got the red cups. And he's the one that said that, like, no, like I was not going to apply for a warrant. Like, he was like, absolutely not. I did the right thing by not applying. We had no probable cause to go inside the house. That's what he said.
Imagine, no, seriously, I think the foreman said the same thing. If something happened in his law, no,
yes,
you're not gonna go inside. In my house, do you think they're not gonna come inside? I'm a Latina woman married to an Arab man. Do you think they're not gonna come inside?
Amen, amen, sister. So the last jury there was no Latino, there was no black. Like, not a single person on the jury was like that. I don't know if that fact did that get mentioned at all. Like that, like
no, nobody mentioned that, but I mentioned to myself there was the diversity the bar was low, because there was just me as a Latina and there were 3 black people and just one black and one Latina in the deliberation.
That's more diversity than there was in the last trial, believe it or not. Somehow in 2025 that's a situation. But so you guys, let's see, what else do I have? I have some other things written down here. The Albert Rock. So when you guys went and visited the home, you did the home visit that day, there was a rock there for some reason, and it said Albert on it. Did you see that?
Yeah, we all saw, and the judge told us that rock wasn't there on the day of the incident, the crime.
Okay. Did you wonder how that got there? Because that's not supposed to be there.
No clue. And the house, they said that the house doesn't belong to the Alberts, so we don't want to bother the
Which
people.
makes it even weirder, don't you think?
Yeah, so I didn't understand.
That I don't think anyone understands. That seems to be the oddest thing. That's Mark. What do you think of the Albert Rock? I still can't believe that happened.
I don't know how that can happen. It makes no sense. You know, if it wasn't there on January 29th of 2022, it obviously has no relevance. It can mislead people thinking, you know, maybe that's where John O'Keefe banged his head, which would potentially make people more likely to believe that he must have been struck by a car right here and landed there. So the prejudice to the defense could be off the charts with something like that. As far as having their name Albert on it, I don't know what the hell to make of that, good or bad for either side. That's just weird to me. The thing that struck out to me about the crime scene visit that I'm curious about is, did you think it was too early to view the house and the area without knowing enough about the case, or what that wasn't a problem?
Can you ask that again? Because you cut a little bit. Sorry.
So you went to the crime scene very early in the case. I don't remember how many witnesses had already testified. Do you think that that visit was too early in the case before you had enough evidence about what allegedly happened, where, and what the significance of the fire hydrant was to the flagpole, to bedroom windows here, and all this other stuff? Would that have been more beneficial to have gone later, rather, when you heard more evidence that you could have processed?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think about that, but now that you were saying, yeah, it would make more sense because when we got there, there was a bunch of details that we don't know why we need to take note of. Why the window? Why the garage door? Why this and that measurement? We could walk close to the house, so I count the steps. I measured my height with the car, all those things. But we need to go back to the room to court and take notes of what we saw because we couldn't bring our notebooks. There was a lot of details gave it to us that at the time didn't make sense, but I understood after.
Yeah, I always thought they did in both trials. It was too early and a major advantage for the prosecution, given the defense theory and everything else, if they didn't have a chance to, you know, look at the windows where they relate.
Right. Like, do you think you could sleep through something like that?
I'll tell you a story quickly. One time my garbage can in my house got on fire. I was pregnant with twins and then I didn't woke up. And the fireman came and everything was on the back of my house and I didn't woke up. But I was pregnant. However, over there, the distance was shorter and the dog. What bothers me is not that they didn't wake up because they were drunk. I assume they were drinking a lot. So people can sleep through. I had this experience of sleeping through fire department putting down fire in my backyard. But the dog would bark. And if you have a dog in the house, you can hear it. You can see it.
Do you have a dog in the house? Do you own a dog?
Not at the moment, but I already had dog. And I know any movement, anything, my dog is gonna bark as hell until it's over. It's a sort of protection. Unless the type of dog they have, it's like a protection dog. It's like a big dog, right? So the fact that they didn't wake up, not surprised. They were drunk, but they didn't wake up to the dog.
Was that brought up during deliberations? Did you guys talk about that?
We didn't talk about the dog because the dog was
about them not waking up.
Oh yeah,
that did come up, and others thought that was suspect too.
Yeah, we all want to go to. We all question why the Alberts didn't came out and why the police didn't go in.
Because you might have seen since then these people that you didn't get to meet, the McAlberts. You met one of them. You met Jen McCabe, but the others have gone on 2020 or Dateline. I forget which one. And they're crying that they are being scapegoated for not waking up. That's like one of the things that they're crying about. Like, it's not fair. Why are people saying that? But you don't really believe that. It sounds like you think that it's not really believable that they wouldn't wake up during something like that.
No, especially because he's a policeman. Like men usually has this alert to be paying attention on things around the house. I think is a natural thing that most men have. I mentioned my incident with the fire truck because I was pregnant and hormonal and exhausted. I had twins in my belly, and I slept through. It wasn't the case for them, but I did give them the benefit of doubt. Maybe they drank too much and they passed out. I understand, but the fact that they have a dog, a huge dog that usually protects people, and the dog doesn't bark, and then also not just that. Why the hell, when these people got there, they didn't knock at their door? There is a person there in your lawn. Please come out. Whatever, even if it's just for comfort. Isn't that a family house? Isn't it Jane McCabe's sister's house, right?
Yes, that's a big
Even for
thing.
comfort, you know.
Yes. If you came to your sister, like, I don't know if you have a sister or brother or whatever, if you came to their house and you find a dead friend on the front lawn, how long would it take you to run in the house?
Less than a second.
Less than a
Because I
second.
want to know if something happened to them. If there's a person
Right.
dead here, who's inside?
Right. Would you mind watching this little clip together have you seen this clip from the, this is on, I believe 2020. So you met one of these people. Okay. All of these people testified at the last trial. Do you know who this person is?
I think it's the Brian, right?
That is Brian Albert. So this is let me play some of this and let's hear your kind of thoughts on it.
Every turn. And yesterday was the final letdown. And that's why we're here, because there's nobody left to stand up for us.
Think real long and hard before you're a witness in a case, because no one protects you. And it's very, very sad.
For the first time, some of the key players and his wife, Nicole, and his brother, Chris Albert, all five of them pulled into the center of this high-profile case and now speaking out.
And I think the reason we all stayed quiet is because we were just witnesses. This is a thing that we had nothing to do with.
We did the civic duty, came and told the truth, and that's it.
Free Karen Reed! It's the case that has captivated the country and divided a town. Karen Reed, accused of killing her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, hitting him with her SUV and leaving him to die in a blizzard.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Now, after a second trial, a jury acquitting her of the most serious charges, second-degree murder and manslaughter.
That's you. That's you.
And hundreds of supporters in pink, Karen Reed's favorite color.
Pause it right there. Did you have any idea how many people were outside?
No. People are questioning me online. Oh, I saw someone in pink here and there. Yes, sometimes the bus drive by and then we see two people walking in pink. And then I learned through mid-trial that pink was her color and everything. But we had no access to the front of the courthouse. The windows were tinted or had a paper on it. And we could not hear any movement outside.
Mm-hmm.
Just the sirens, just ambulance and stuff like that. Other than
So
that,
when you heard the crowd explode, were you surprised? Were you?
I was surprised. I was surprised.
Okay, interesting. Let me play some more here.
Cheering as the verdict came down yesterday.
I could not be standing here without these amazing supporters.
People turned this thing into a tailgate party, it looked like, some days. Board games, cornhole, cookouts. This is
to be clear, there was no cornhole, but
a guy that was murdered. And it's atrocious for that family.
While the prosecutors blamed Reed for O'Keefe's death, the defense said this group of family members framed Reed to cover up what really happened that night. Ever since, their lives becoming open season for endless conspiracy theories.
What they've done is they've dehumanized us to the sense where we're not real people. We're almost like caricatures. We're pawns.
Have each of you been called murderers? Like actual murderers?
Oh, yeah, on a daily basis.
Anybody who's touched this case has been called a murderer at some point.
And anyone who's friends with us support cop killers. Yeah.
After 3+ years,
the guy you just saw there, Matt McCabe, it was brought into evidence that they were in a group text, and he said in the group text that just tell them the guy never came in the house. What did you think of that message?
Could go both ways, Aidan. It could be like, just say the truth, remind them that we never saw him. Or it could be like, remember to say he never came in the house for another reason. I don't know. People say and do different things when they are under stress.
Was there any significance to the fact that he called him the guy as opposed to John? In that private family text message chain, they were always talking about the guy, or the 911 call was the man, that they never called him John when speaking privately amongst each other.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the man in the lawn was the Jane McCabe call, because she was actually friends with him. But from what I understood, he wasn't friend with the Alberts, right? Like they know each other, but they're not close friends. So he never been in their house before. He was asking for the address and where to go and everything. So I assume they were just acquaintances or didn't know each other because they're policemen, officers.
Yeah. Let's talk about Aunty Bev, because this is what everybody wants to know about. Like, she's the most wild person in this whole thing. I've read your thoughts about her in the other interviews, and you've said that she came across to you, as she has come across to a lot of us, as somebody who was, just giving Hank Brennan everything he wanted and not giving the defense anything they wanted. Is that an accurate reflection of how you viewed her?
Half accurate. At the end, only with defense witnesses, I did feel like it was a lot of I allowed it for everything that Jackson would object. There was a lot of I allow it, and the opposite didn't happen when was Brennan object to stand. But that was towards the end. I would say the last week of witnesses, the defense witnesses. I didn't feel she was biased. I said biased. I didn't think she was favoring anyone until
like with Dr. Laposata and Dr. Renster,
yeah,
you thought
yeah,
that okay.
Yeah, with the Commonwealth witness, I think she was normal. She was, I didn't feel anything different. Just towards the end.
Okay. And so what did you and other jurors think, when you asked about on those questions, right? About like, can you acquit on 2 and hang on 1? And she said back, her answer was figure it out yourself. What if it was me, and I think a lot of people said this too, we would have been like, okay, fine, not guilty on everything out of spite. Like, did that piss you off that she didn't even give you guys an answer?
No, none of us, I think, had that reaction. We thought maybe if she answered that question, she would interfere in our decision, and that's something she was trying to avoid. That was our thought.
Okay. Have you seen any of Jen McCabe's testimony from the first trial by any chance?
I haven't seen anything from the first trial. I just saw like some memes and news about Proctor and the Alberts.
Okay. So it's what most of us who have watched the first trial take away from this is that she was a completely different person during the second trial. I think she was on drugs. That's just me, Valium or something to calm her down, because during the first trial, she was extremely combative with Alan Jackson and went at it. And this time it was like, I'm sorry, this and that. Like it was, she was on. So I don't know what your deal is. What did you think of Jen McCabe?
She seemed coached. She seems like prepped, too much prepped. And she look at us a lot, the jury. Some juries look at us, but she look at us in a different way, kind of like it's like a joke about like we're just a mom type of thing.
I was just going to say that a couple of your tweets have thrown in a little thing about how you're just a normal mom. So that is a little pun there you're doing.
Yeah, because look, I can't say these people did anything, but they did lie, and some of their behaviors were fishy. So I'm sorry, but I have suspicions. I think other citizens do too.
Do you think you're a normal mom, right? You have 4 kids. Okay. Have you ever lied to the FBI?
No, I've never had any contact with the FBI.
Okay. Well, I was told, I don't know, it's just normal mom stuff. I guess that's what I was told. So you didn't think that was normal behavior. You were like, this is not, she's infamous. She did that during the first trial a lot. She would constantly look at the jury like, you guys believe me, right? Did you get that vibe from her?
Yeah, that's the vibe. Yeah. We didn't know what to do. It's hard for me to come out and just point fingers. I'm not familiar with everything. I didn't see the first trial, and I tend to give people the benefit of doubt. But I think their behavior were unnatural during the event, and her behavior was sometimes unnatural during trial. And the lie about the FBI thing also stands out to me.
Yeah. What, Mark, do you have any questions for her real quick before I got a couple more, but go ahead.
I mean, similar to Jen McCabe, when you learned about lying to the FBI, what did you think about when Kerry Roberts told the truth to the FBI, but in doing so acknowledged that she testified falsely under oath in the grand jury about the Google search that's so famously in dispute?
My personal opinion about Kerry Roberts, she seems believable, and she seems sad for real. She seems sincere in court. So if she made a mistake saying anything that's not supposed to, or if lie or whatever, in her case specifically, I think she was under stress, and I don't know, she could be manipulated. She could be just forgetful. So many things. But I think she comes from a good place. I think her feelings for John and her desire for justice is true, and maybe she went beyond she should to make this justice happen.
Yeah, you got it. Like, you are what you're saying right now has to be music to the defense's ears, because I think that their goal is, they wanted you to take away from the Kerry Roberts testimony, is that she is you said the word manipulated, that she is an easily that she's not a bad person, that she was an easily manipulated person. And that, who do you think was manipulating her? Who did you take away from that?
Well, the assumptions, of course, Jane McCabe, because of the timeline thing.
There you go.
Because you have your family, your brother-in-law is a police officer. Two of your brother-in-laws, right, are police officers. So you kind of know how the system is. You don't get together to make a timeline after a crime, or you keep talking about the crime in your house in the morning. I know that, and she should know that, because her family she's from an officer family.
Yes. I thought that was really interesting. So did you know that, and this did not come out in this trial, and I wonder that there was a text message sent from Julie Albert. Do you know who Julie Albert is?
She's someone's wife, but I have no clue.
She's Chris Albert's wife. Did you know that Julie Albert sent a text message to Michael Proctor's sister, in which, on the day that Karen Reed was arrested, February 2nd, 2022, offering Michael Proctor a gift, also known as a bribe, as a thank you for arresting Karen Reed? Did you know that?
No.
Would that have been surprising to you and affected how you felt about this?
Well, if it was shown in court, maybe it would come to a conclusion earlier.
Yeah.
It's odd, yes.
That's one of many examples of things that you did, messages that you didn't hear about. And Mark, can you think of any other texts that didn't come in that were like, oh, wow.
There were a few other text messages that were part of that family chain where
the kill yourself one, did that come in?
I thought that one did.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm
sorry.
Talking about the McCabe's and Albert chain, the same one where she's telling them everything and tell them the guy never went in the house. There were discussions when the cops were out searching, or day after day in the Albert yard, that they would keep each other apprised. Like, oh, they're digging or searching at the Asian house.
Yeah, that's the neighbors. The neighbors are Asian.
Neighbors are of Asian descent, and the cops were out searching, and that's, I guess, right around where that flagpole and fire hydrant is, kind of going into their property. And they were talking about, oh, they're searching, but they're searching over there, and there seemed to be a lot of interest in, what they're doing, where they are, and if those messages had come out, I think that certainly would have been suspicious. And I think the other biggest fact maybe that they didn't know was Higgins and Albert and what they did with their phones.
Oh, the phones. Do you know about what they did with their phones?
You go.
No.
Okay, so Brian Albert destroyed his phone. So in September of 2022, Judge Peter Krupp, who was on this case for like a day, he issued a preservation order that Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, and a couple others had to preserve their phones, right? Well, somehow the day before that preservation order came out, Brian Albert had the instinct to destroy his phone, get rid of his phone. And Brian Higgins also destroyed his phone, except he did it differently. He took the SIM card out, put it in a trash bag, put the phone in another trash bag, and then drove both the trash bags to an Army base in Cape Cod and threw it in a dumpster in there. That came out during the FBI investigation. And they both had to answer for that in the first trial and explain why they did that. And I think Brian Albert's answer was, oh, I was just upgrading my phone. I was just doing an upgrade. And Brian Higgins' answer to this was that he was like, he's on the ATF. So some guy he was investigating got his phone number. And the only solution, I guess, was to destroy his SIM card at an Army base. Is that how it worked, Mark? I think that's what they said, right?
Something like that. I mean, it was that, and also he didn't want, sensitive information. So he just went to visit his friend in the FBI to help him extract only his text messages with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. And then he made printouts and handed that to Bukkake, and Bukkake apparently was okay with that.
Yeah. But what do you think of that? Would that have affected how you feel?
See, it's too many coincidences. Things. If you maybe you miss one phone because your phone fell in the toilet, you need to exchange. It's it's one thing, but then you have two people who were in the house that lose the phone at the same time, who also butt dialed themselves during the night, as you said. Yeah.
Too many coincidences, you're saying.
Yeah.
That just something's shady or something's going on. You know what the last jury called that? They called that a distraction. Distractors. They were like, the defense is just trying to trick us. The defense is just trying to distract us from the fact that Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe with their car. That's what last jurors thought, which is crazy. That's why I like you so much more.
Well, if they were inside the house or something, it would be a distraction, yes. But come on, it's the phone of two people in a house.
So you think John went in the house?
I do.
What is your strongest reasons for believing that John went in the house?
Because the Dr. Whiffen report has, at one moment, his phone is pointing to the house. It happened. And then the phone lose accuracy, go from 14 meters accuracy and go to 60 accuracy, something like that. And it's common when you go inside a building or under the bad weather that you lose accuracy. So he could be inside and the location just starts spinning in the area.
That's
exactly that's without hearing from Higgins, who would have said no. To Aidan.
Right. That's a good point. You don't know about this. Mark's going to tell you. I'll let Mark tell you what happened.
Higgins, I think it was also told the FBI, because again, when a lot of these people talk to the FBI, they at least tell some of the truth. He told the FBI that a man did, in fact, come in the house. And I think he said he was about 6'2" and brown hair. In other words, fitting John O'Keefe's description to a T. But then he tried to say, but it wasn't John. I don't know who it was. But he did tell them that a man did, in fact, come in the house fitting his description. And at the first trial, when they called all these Alberts, so they had an army of witnesses who said no one came in the house, no one came in the house, no one came in the house. They didn't do that this time, obviously. But Higgins would have said a guy came in the house.
Look at her facial reaction, Mark.
Her
eyes are like what? And you didn't hear that. And that was a gamble by the defense not bringing Higgins forward, because you're hearing a bunch of stuff right now that really helps the defense. But I think the reason that they didn't call him and the downside is he's what he describes himself as, a decorated dude. And when Brian Higgins puts on a suit and tie, he's a very different person than the guy that you saw. What was your impression of Brian Higgins? Because you never heard from him. You only saw what the defense presented you of Brian Higgins. How would you describe your picture of who Brian Higgins was based on how the defense presented him?
I don't have a picture of him. I just saw a guy in a hoodie walking inside the Canada Police Department at 1 a.m. or something. That's
You think you look shady?
no, going to police department in the middle of a blizzard is shady. Yes, about his, we couldn't see his face or anything. I don't know how he looks like, to be honest.
What about the waterfall video of him being held back? What'd you think of that?
Oh, that was a head flag because he does like this, right? And then they show John doing like this. This for me says, come here. And then John says, let's talk later. And then there was a text message of him saying, are you coming or are you there or something? So he was expecting to talk. He was expecting John and to talk to him about something, right? That's another theory I have, that he went inside the house and he talked to someone in there.
And he text messaged his girlfriend, Karen, at the bar while he's with John.
Yes, and she didn't answer. Yes.
No, well, what'd you think of well? What did you think that meant? How did you take that?
Embarrassment, maybe, or you kind of. I mean, the exchange.
If a guy said that to you, I know you're married, right? But like, if you weren't, like, if you were some guy that whatever it was, like you had flirted with before, and he sends you a text and he says, well, how do you take that? How do you interpret that?
I think he wants to know what was going on with her, like the type of thing, like what you're doing here with John. Why?
Ooh, with John.
Yeah, because she mentioned that the relationship was kind of rocky, the kids' involvement and blah, blah, blah. And that text message exchange between them was hard to go through. Well, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was weird.
You should, and that wasn't anything. The first trial was worse because Brian Higgins himself read those in the first trial. And he was almost proud of it. Like, it was bizarre the way he was. It was like a pretty girl. Like, you think I'm hot? Yes, the defendant says I'm hot. Like, it was so uncomfortable. He was so proud when he read that one about, you think I'm hot? Defendant, yes.
We didn't have to say anything about those text messages. We can't talk about the cases, but I mean, I felt there were looks between us because we all felt uncomfortable and tense. But
yeah,
witnessed that text messages.
You mentioned in your interview with Jess about Bukkake, or as Julie Albert calls him, Bukkake. He is that happened in the first trial, but that's a different story. So during did he come across to you as arrogant? Because that's the first word I would use to describe him.
A little bit, yes.
What did you think of the elbow on the thing? And
I didn't mind. I didn't pay attention much on that, but I saw him making fist, like some questions would make him so uncomfortable that he would do like this in the table, like almost he was holding himself. Crossed my mind at some point, few times, that this guy's gonna jump out of here and I'm gonna get hit because I'm right in front of him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but that's my impression.
Did you see him on the day of closing arguments? Bukkake showed up for some reason and he was standing in the hallway in like a black suit. Did you see him?
No, and why he was there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. He showed up on the final day and just stood in the hallway downstairs, and Karen Reed's team was very upset about this because it seemed like they took that as he's trying to intimidate the jury.
He wasn't invited by Jonkie's family or anything?
No, he just showed up.
He can be admitted in court being a witness?
He wasn't inside the courtroom. He just stood down in the hallway, and Karen Reed's team was very worried that he was there to kind of get a look at you guys, because in the last trial, there was some shenanigans on the last day. A juror who I have interviewed who believed that Karen Reed was innocent was eliminated as a juror on the final day of deliberations because another state trooper by the name of John Fanning reported that she had been at a bar 6 weeks before that and had been talking about the case or something like that. And so she was dismissed. And so we were very on edge about messing with the jury, especially with the state police. And so to see Bukkake there on the final day of closing statements, the first day of deliberations, that was very troubling. But you didn't see him.
I would feel intimidated if I saw him, to be honest.
Okay. So that, I think that's the whole point. I mean, I think that's why he was there. I don't know that it's a fact, but Mark, don't you think that's odd that Bukkake was there on the final day?
There's a lot of odd things on deliberation day and summation day. How would you feel if some of the witnesses who testified on behalf of the prosecution showed up for summation day and sat with the O'Keefes, which happened at the first trial?
Really?
Oh, you didn't? Oh, yeah, that's crazy. You got to see this.
I need to stop giving interviews so I can go into it.
Yeah.
I mean, if Bukkake is intimidating, how about Brian Albert sitting right across, staring at you for 4 hours?
Yeah. I wish I whenever you search for like Karen Reed stuff now, it's like the most recent trial. You used to come up in the queue, so I wouldn't even know where to find it right now on short notice. But on the final day of closing statements, Jennifer McCabe, Kerry Roberts, Brian Albert, and Colin Albert all were brought in with the O'Keefe family and just sat there and stared at the jury. And Brian Albert is a big dude, and he's kind of a scary looking dude. And a couple of the jurors said they felt intimidated by Brian Albert's presence in the courtroom on that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I would feel intimidated too. No, I didn't know that. And to be honest, and none of the people in Karen side box or the family box were actually like looking directly at us. I didn't feel that.
Yeah, you guys didn't. There wasn't much eye contact. I didn't look at any jurors.
Yeah, I was looking a lot to all of them to observe the reactions. For me, this is important. But they would turn the eye and they wouldn't like look straight at my face. I think that was good, nice.
Yeah, like when you went in there knowing that it was not guilty, was it hard to keep a poker face? Like, didn't part of you, like, I don't know, I guess I would want to look at the defendant and kind of smile and like let her know you're about to like what's going to happen. Because like if you're Karen Reed, imagine going into that room, right? You have no idea what this jury's going to do. The last jury let you down big time. You go in there and you're like, these 12 strangers have my life in their hands. And you go in there and you're like, you should have seen her before you guys came in. They were so scared. Mr. Alan Jackson, who's like Mr. Confident, was walking around that courtroom going, like it looked like he was just by himself, not talking to anyone. They were crying. They were hugging each other. It was the most intense thing. And then you guys came in and you have the life in their hands and you know what you're about to say, but she doesn't. What's that like?
I was shaking and I was looking down. I choose to looking down. I didn't want to look to anybody. She didn't look at us much. I mean, I don't think I ever look her in the eyes, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to just look now, and then when I heard the noise outside, I start crying, and then I continue. I keep my face down, anyways, because it's weird. I don't know. I'm seeing some side happy and another side crying, sad. I don't know what to feel, to be honest. I feel confident that I did justice for her. Okay, I'm happy for her. I want her to go live her life and never, be involved in anything again. I don't know if there's some sort of lawsuit, civil.
Civil lawsuit.
Yeah, that could happen. But I mean, I really hope that she can.
Do you feel
I would
like
say forgive? I even going to say forgive herself. I don't know if she feels any sort of guilt. I mean, because she dropped him off on that party and then never saw him again, and she left those voice messages, and she never could say goodbye. She didn't go to his funeral, right? I assume.
No, she wasn't allowed. They had a restraining order on her.
Yeah, so I assume she couldn't say goodbye to a life she had for 2 years, and I hope she gets therapy and can get through this trauma, honestly. and live her life.
Yeah, I mean, she probably needs it. The shit that I don't know how she does it. I mean, I
don't know how she does it. Yeah,
stronger person than me. Like you feel like you said justice for Karen Reed? Justice for Karen Reed? Do you feel like acquitting Karen Reed is justice for John O'Keefe?
Not at all, because we need to find who did this to him, and even if it was an accident, someone need to come out and say what happened over there, instead of trying to, blame on someone else.
Interesting. And that's why they don't like you, by the way, is because what you just said there, that you think somebody, like, you don't think Karen did it, therefore someone did it, and you think that they need to be honest, which implies that they're not being honest right now, and that's why they don't like you.
It's okay.
Yeah, who cares?
Get in line. Let's say it was an accident. Look, best case scenario, everybody's innocent. It was an accident. Okay, he fell outside, he was drunk, he hit his head, he died. Still, I think putting him out, leaving him outside was staged to leave him outside, and sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'll keep you. I'll let you go. I'll let you go in a minute. Sorry. I've had you for almost 2 hours. You got a family.
I do.
Tell them I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I think
real life right there.
I totally lost my thought. Okay, so even if it was an accident that happens, okay, and they saw, oh my God, this person just died on our front lawn. Let's just put him outside, and maybe people will think it was an accident, and nobody's going to be blamed for this. Halas, it's over. However, why they would do that, and that's from my experience as a Brazilian citizen who has seen so much corruption and bad police. Police usually don't want their life being investigated for any reason. They just don't want to be in a spotlight. Okay, this is my personal experience from things I saw in my own country and from things I'm maybe seeing here right now. They don't want things to be investigated. They don't want people inside their house for any reason, even for security reason. It could be, I don't know. So even if it was an accident, nobody's to blame. They left the guy outside because they want to refrain themselves from the situation.
Yeah, so like that's very cool that you just said that, because you are from Brazil, and it's, I guess the stereotype would be that they're
dangerous. It's dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's a little more dangerous, and like the police are a little bit more corruptible. The police aren't paid as much. They're more susceptible to being bribed. They can be corrupt. Everybody knows, like in Mexico, if you get pulled over, you just bribe the cop. You're also, you know what I mean? So like, has this changed your view of policing in America? And did you think it was like this before the trial?
No, I didn't think before the trial. I didn't think could be so obvious, like a small town, maybe Boston police, like things that happen in Boston. It's a big city. You might find corruption here and there, but I didn't think like in a small town, suburbs, like kind of like rich middle class or high class people living. You don't expect to see crime or this type of issue in those neighborhoods. So I didn't think the police in these small towns, people are just living their lives. That's what they sell us in movies, The police are nice. The guy buy a donut, sits behind the chair in a small town setting type of thing. But, I'm old enough to know that, of course, there is bad people everywhere. I know that already. But I was surprised to see that was happening so close to me. And then I saw there was another case going on too about the girl who was killed by a police from Stoughton.
Oh yes, Sandra Birchmore. I was in Canton, but
so I want to dig into that too. I heard her name before. I wanted to watch a podcast way before trial. I wanted to listen to something in her, but I didn't have a chance. And I'm definitely gonna look.
Yeah, it's very interesting, very sad too. What did you think? Have you seen this picture?
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't read it. What does that mean?
I don't know. This is just a picture from the garage in July of 2023. I don't know what to make of it entirely. A lot of people are, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, this is blood. I don't know what this is, but it is a picture from inside the garage, and it appears to be some maroon colored paint or something right here. And what a lot of people think is that this thing right here, that John could have hit his head on one of these things, and that could have caused the laceration in the back of the head. We will never know because they didn't go into the house. They didn't lumen all this. They didn't DNA test or anything like that. But if you had seen something like this, because I believe the defense wanted to present this into evidence, and Beverly Cannoni said, not my courtroom. Would that have affected your testimony, you think? I mean, your opinion.
Would it be just one more question mark for us to raise the reasonable doubt and not guilty Karen Reed? In the end of the day, our job was just that. If we have doubts, that's it. It's over. We don't have to find out what happened.
God, fucking beautiful. Music to my ears. The thing. This is the way it's supposed to be. This is the way that you are a Brazilian immigrant and you get our justice system better than a lot of Americans do. And I thank you for that. And I thank you for your service. You are a wonderful guest and a wonderful juror. And I'm just so happy that I cried being in that courtroom because you 12 strangers just delivered. You guys, when I was interviewed by Fox News, I said, the first people I want to thank are those 12 jurors, because without them seeing through this, we wouldn't be out here right now. There wouldn't be justice. So you guys are, whether or not you want to hear this, you're heroes for what you guys did.
Thank you. For me, honestly, it wasn't a burden. Like I said, other times I like being there. I enjoy the experience of leaving the house every morning, like if I was working again, especially in a courtroom. That was a place I was familiar with back in the day in Brazil. So it was a nice experience overall. And I'm glad that I got out of this feeling confident that I did the right thing. It was not like I'm walking out and think, oh my God, how about if she's guilty? I'm not wondering, none of those things. I'm just keep it going with my life, and I hope she goes with her life. And I really, really, really hope that, I don't know how the system works like properly. I don't know the details of everything, but can we reopen the case? Can we continue investigation? Can we go into these people who weren't investigated before? I don't know how.
What do you think, Mark? What do you think? Do you think that's going to happen?
The problem is the case was botched within the first 24 to 48 hours from not securing a crime scene, not securing evidence in the proper way, and not interviewing witnesses, not looking in certain locations. And so even to go back, it's so much harder. And the incredible irony is this: if somebody else were to be ultimately investigated and even charged, which I'm not suggesting would happen, their defense would be a third-party culprit defense. Karen Reed did.
That's so true. That's true.
That's no joke. That is 1,000% true. And it would almost certainly, barring a smoking gun of guilt against someone else, probably give a jury against person X reasonable doubt.
Do you think that's why? Do you think that's why no one was ever indicted? Is because the feds knew that they would use that defense?
Well, I mean, again, even if they find things, the feds don't always investigate in the way that the Norfolk DA does. They actually look to build the case, connect the dots, dot the I's, cross the T's, wrap it up in a gift box with a bow, and when they go to trial, assume we're probably going to win. Like there's no holes here, or very few. This case was always, arrest Karen and what? They have no answers for these critical questions. And when you hear jurors tell you, I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious, right? They just can't account for so many problems with the case. And if the feds can't fix those holes, they're just not going to prosecute. It's a totally different animal altogether.
Awesome. So anyway, I've had you guys for a while. Any closing thoughts, Mark, or anything you want to say or ask?
No, I think it's nice to meet you. And what a refreshing take to hear from a juror who was completely responsible, cogent, rational, open-minded, fair. It's everything you would want in a jury system, which has a lot of problems. So it's encouraging. You're indicating all the other jurors we're in the same way. The only thing is, I mean, I think what's happening to you is disgraceful, and, out the outside noise, you handle it well, obviously, but, these people are harassing you, but for the fact that you deliberated and reached a result that went one way. And if you had, for whatever reason, and the rest of the jury had found Karen guilty, there would be people certainly who would say, oh my God, the jury, I can't believe it. They got it wrong, whatever. But I don't think you'd be seeing what you're seeing and what you're experiencing. And just know that it's illegal what they're doing.
Yeah, like that would not be happening because I'm on bail. I would never say anything like that because I'm on bail. And we know that like they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt like a lot of these people are getting right now. Because like I read one of these. This is the most disturbing one. I'm not even going to put it up there, but I'll just read it. It's from that Wolfgang guy. What's his name? He said, this is what he said to you. He said, I'm glad you think murder is fun. You don't think murder is fun. No. Hopefully you get the same exact karma. Something happens to one of your kids and we can all have some fun with it. I'm so sorry that you even had to read that. I'm disturbed reading it as a parent myself. I am so sorry you had to read that. How do you deal with that? That's fucking horrible.
I'm a woman of faith. Okay. I have a strong faith that I follow, and I'm confident in my God. And I don't, those type of comments are just so degrading that I don't even feel scared by. I just feel sorry for the type of human being this person is. And, he's going to get his karma for saying those things. I protect my children and my family as a lion, as they mothers are, right? And I will be here. You're not going to threaten me. None of you are going to threaten me. You can talk about my appearance, my accent, my immigration status, as much as you want it, and you're not going to touch my kid. None of them, and none of my husband. You can bring my whole life out, and I'm still not gonna feel intimidated because I'm not doing anything wrong. I was called to be a juror. I didn't ask to. I didn't want to be sick 8 weeks out of my life. I had like a system going. I was fine. I'm not work at Target, guys, by the way. I work at Target part-time before. I have clients in Brazil and I make money in Brazilian currency, which doesn't worth in dollars. So I got a gig at Target on the weekend, and what? That's no shame on that. Shame is being at home, like threatening people and saying no sense to people that you don't even know and their children, their family. I am I had a life before. I didn't want to be there. And all I did was be a decent juror who had a reasonable doubt. So it's not my fault that she was not guilty. If she is guilty, God knows. And I'm not going to feel intimidated by anyone or anything. And I'm going to continue talking and having fun as much as I can. I will stop when I want it, not when you guys tell me to.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Paula, for coming on. You were a wonderful guest. And thank you, Mark, as well, for joining us.
Sure.
And this is great. And why don't you do this, Paula? Why don't you go and watch the first trial, and then we can talk after that. Maybe we could do a follow-up in a couple months after you watch the
All
first
right.
trial.
Give him some time. My 4 children, summer vacation.
Yes.
I will do
Enjoy
my
the
best
time.
to watch it.
Family first. Family first. So that's why I said a couple months.
All right. We do it.
All right, guys. Thank you guys both for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
That was so awesome. I loved every minute of that, talking to her, dude. That was more refreshing than I thought it would be, man. That was fucking great. I don't know what else to say. She's the perfect juror, and not just because she voted the right way. That's not. It's her reasoning. That's what made it so beautiful, was her reasoning. And God damn it, like Ronnie is Timu Paula at this point. Like, they're not even in the same stratosphere. Just the way they talk. What a different jury. What a vastly, vastly, vastly superior jury we got this time around. And I was right about, I said the same thing about the first jury, so I was wrong about them. But I was right about the second jury. I just loved it, man. And I said, trust me, guys. Trust me. I see this jury. This is a good jury. It was a better jury. And just now, everything we just learned from that conversation about the things that they were talking about, it's just, bro, they did everything right. They did the conversations that went on in that room were the exact conversations that should have gone on. Everything the defense did worked to plan. They could have, honestly, they could have called Higgins and Proctor and it would have gone fine. They would have gotten this, but they would have got the same result. It would have been the same result. Not guilty. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. All three. What a beautiful interview that was. I am so excited after bro, I was so frustrated from the Ronnie interview. I don't dislike Ronnie as a person. I liked Ronnie. I thought Ronnie was a nice guy, and I don't like all the Ronnie hate. What he said disappointed me about what was going on inside that room, whatever. But man, dude, she just hit everything. And that just pisses me off what they're saying about her. You know what I mean? Like, just attacking the immigrants. That far be it for me to throw around the race card, but that's racist as fuck. The shit that they're saying about her. That's just like, bro, I want to defend her. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Don't talk about her like that. How dare you? But I don't even need to, because she does it herself. She just does it herself. She just roasts these mofos one by one. I mean, straight up roasting them, not giving a fuck about anything. What an impressive woman. What an impressive woman. And I want to meet the others. You know, I want to meet the others. I want to meet the smirker. I want to meet the young kid. You know, I want to meet him. I want to have it because she seemed to make it sound like I kind of got him wrong, because I said that he might be somebody that would be easily influenced either way. But again, I'm also fucked up from Ronnie. Keep that in mind. So it's not my fault. So like, I'd like to meet him. I'd like to have a conversation with him. There's just so many of in the foreman. I got to talk to the foreman. Foreman, my dude. I know you talked to the Boston Herald. That was great. You got to come on the live show with Turtleboy. It's the only way to do it. You got to do it. It'll be awesome. Come on here, my guy. We'll have a real good interview, and a couple of the others, you know, like Juror 16 and 18, you know, both women, both young. I'd like to know more about you. Oh, and by the way, let's talk about how John DePetro got fucking roasted by the fake Juror 17. So this is come out now. Let me see here. So I got to find my tweet first of all about this. And there's going to be a lot of shit I don't have time to get to tonight. I wanted to get to so much shit tonight, but that interview was just too good. I'm looking for the whole John DePetro interview. Can somebody get that for me? The original interview that he had. Oh, here it is. Okay. I got it. Let me just download these real quick. So briefly on, I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday, I forget what day, briefly, John DePetro put out an article that he published on his website, on his self-published website. Did they not come up? Please? Hold on. All right, here it is. Check this out. And then I'm going to read some turtle chats. We haven't done that. All right. So he publishes this on his little web presentation. Karen Reed, juror exclusive. Note taker, alternate juror 17, Karen Reed trial. All right. So he's got the big scoop here. Juror 17, as many of us in the media noted, was a big, he filled 5 notebooks up. And then, I noted that he was the oldest juror, and that because of that demographic, I was a little skeptical because I'm almost from the last trial. Right. And then, then this came out. Okay. So then he publishes this article, and the article, I'm like, bro, he actually published this. This article is really bad for DePetro, because he's like, how would you have voted? I would have voted not guilty. How is Hank Brennan? He was focused and determined. He did a great job at crossing Sergeant Barros. He definitely tripped him up, but at times he came across as just rude, saying, over here to witnesses, blah, blah, blah. How was the blue paint? These are the questions that fucking DePetro asks. What about the blue paint? Honestly, my head was spinning. I thought it was a joke. I couldn't believe a forensic expert would do something so silly. All it did was demonstrate that if you intentionally put your bare skin against wet paint, the wet paint will transfer to your skin. Like, I couldn't believe John was posting this, because this is just like, he worships Hank Brennan. He would do anything for Hank Brennan. And here he is basically saying Hank Brennan is a moron, and so is Judd Welcher. What was wrong with the case? Well, there was a glaring holes, to name a few. He kept portraying her statements at the scene as admissions, but that doesn't add up. Okay, like, why wasn't she arrested? Okay, what else? He says that there was no consistent explanation for the injuries. No medical doctors would say that. So this is, what did the defense do well? They established reasonable doubt, especially with Bukkake, because he was so defensive. Who were the good witnesses? The scientists and ARCA, right? Lucky Loughran was the most convincing. And then he throws in this. And then Juror 17 throws in this little shindig. I can't with this now that I know what I know. I was born in Norwood when JFK was president, and I have lived in Massachusetts my whole life. I've shoveled more driveways than I care to remember. Ha ha. He's doing this whole, like, I'm a boomer thing. If there was a body laying on 1 inch or 2 of snow just off the road, there's no way that I wouldn't have seen it unless the plow guy was drunk. And then who were the bad witnesses? And he goes, Jen McCabe, Kerry Roberts, and Kelly Deaver. She didn't want to answer anything. Okay. So this interview, I'm like, bro, DePetro actually published this? This is like I was going to give him credit for something. At least that interview was a disaster for him, and he still published it. So I'm like, okay, I'll give DePetro credit. He actually published that. Oh no. The whole thing was a scam. He got catfished. So the guy messaged me who spoke with him, and I got to find this. Give me 1 sec to pull this up. I don't want to put DePetro's phone number on the big screen because I want to save that for a special occasion. So give me 1 second. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So I got a message saying, hey, hi, Aidan. This is the email I got. Hi, Aidan. Yesterday, I pranked DePetro. I had him thinking I was alternate juror 17. It was just for my own amusement. I wanted to string him along for a couple emails, then pull the rug and goof on him. As it turned out, FCC policy was the perfect reference for the rug pull. See attached screen. It was funny, though, because he had hastily published and tweeted the juror interview, which was all about reasonable doubt. He deleted it after I made the FCC reference, but then FKR accounts accused him of deleting it at the McAlbert's insistence. When in reality, he was only doing it because he realized he'd been duped. Okay. And so I'll show you so the guy's name is Rich. He sends me this whole thing. Okay. All right. Let me get these up here. Where'd they all go? Hold on. I want all the texts. Okay, here they are. All right. So here's the whole exchange between the two of them. This is great. This is great. All right. So Rich says to him, all right, Mr. DePetro, I saw your tweet from yesterday. I was juror 17. I'd be okay with answering some questions, but I need your assurance that my identity would remain anonymous. Okay, so now DePetro is going to do some fact checking because he's a real journalist, so he wants to make sure this is really Juror 17. I know who Juror 17 is. Describe yourself, please. Were you an alternate? Describe who was on your left and who was on your right. Now, if John DePetro were smart, he would realize that I and many others have been physically describing what all these jurors look like the entire trial. So if this guy's following me or Jess Machado, then he can answer this question. He knows what Juror 17 looks like. And I've also described Juror 16 and 18, who he was obviously sitting next to. So if he's being trolled, the troll can get by. This is hardly a test. This is hardly a test because the troll can just answer this one by going on my Twitter account and finding out the answers. Okay. So this is like John. This is his version of fact checking, is tell me what you look like and then tell me what the people next to you look like. Okay. So the guy passes the test. Let's see the next one. Let's see what he says. Okay. Oh, I don't know what this one means. Someone claimed to be a juror, claimed the following: the court gave us everyone's contact information after the trial concluded and pointed us in the direction of who would best be to reach out to. So this arrogant motherfucker, okay, while he is getting catfished, okay, tries to humble brag to Rich here, who is catfishing him and fucking with him. Okay. And he tries to brag to Rich by saying that another juror contacted him and told him that the court, I don't know what the court is. Beverly Canoni is usually the court. The court gave the jurors everyone's contact information, whatever that means, after the trial concluded, and pointed us in the direction of who would be best to reach out to. AKA, that's why I'm hearing from you, because the court recommended you reach out to me because I'm fucking awesome. I'm like the greatest reporter ever. Do you see what he's done here? John DePetro is telling this guy who he thinks is a juror that he's so fucking important that Beverly Canoni or whoever the court is directed the jurors to speak with him. He's that fucking important. That's what this fucking is. He is trying to humble brag to this guy, Rich, and tell him this. And meanwhile, Rich is thinking like, bro, I'm just fucking with you. Like, this is all, I'm literally just like, Rich has to be fucking peeing his pants right now. Like, this is the funniest shit ever. So this is how this is progressing. Okay. Next email. I just don't want to have the one with the fucking phone number on it because I don't need him getting a million. I'm the only one that can call John DePetro on his phone number. Okay. So next. All right. So he goes, I was given information on instructions regarding contacting anyone after the trial, but I was not a deliberating juror, so I can't speak to what the 12 deliberators were told. As for being an alternate, I have to confess to being very let down when Jim called my number. He called 3 other numbers before 17. I thought I was going to get through. So like, this is like, this guy really knows his details. He knows exactly when juror 17 was picked. And then he says, but what can you do? It's the luck of the draw. 6 of us had to be alternates. To answer your previous question, I am a 64-year-old white man. I sat next to a young white woman and another white man. There's just one problem with that answer. Is juror 17 sat next to juror 16 and juror 18, both of whom were white women. So he actually got this one wrong. So John DePetro is testing this guy to see if he can get by his really tough test about, will he figure this out? Will he figure out that, is he actually the juror? And then the guy says the wrong answer. This is actually the wrong answer. Juror 17 did not sit next to another white man. Juror 617 sat next to 2 white women. So John DePetro's in the courtroom. So if he was paying attention, he would realize that this was wrong and this guy is full of shit. But John DePetro is a fucking moron. He was like a fucking clown. And it doesn't. And what? Let's see his response. You were the note taker? May we speak at 2 p.m. So he's immediately like, oh my God, I got the scoop of the century here. I got the note taker. Okay. The guy, oh boy, he came in his pants. Okay. And then this is brilliant. Well done by Rich. This is what he says. Okay. So he goes, haha, yes. It's all over for a number of reasons. I'm glad it's over. The absence of daily hand cramps being chief among them. I'm not available at 2 p.m. today. I have multiple work calls. Last one scheduled to end at 4:30. Just the detail he's putting into this shit. Perhaps you could email me some questions. I'm just lurking on one of the conference calls. I could probably answer some questions via email in advance of a phone call. Maybe we can do both, DePetro says. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so he says, maybe we can do both. Next slide. Okay. And so then he gives them, he sends his phone number and he says, my cell is blah, 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 blah. I have an idea. Okay. So what is John DePetro's big idea here? Okay. His idea is not showing up. There it is. Okay. So this is his big idea. All right. How would you like to speak with Jen McCabe live tonight on my show? Ooh. So John DePetro's sitting here thinking he's got the scoop of the century. All right. It's like, ooh, everything's turning up DePetro. I may have been booed on my way out of the courtroom and backed into a woman's taillight and cracked it, thus proving that a taillight can indeed crack if it's hit at a low rate of speed, which was clearly a sign from fucking God that the jury was going to acquit Karen Reed on all charges that day, by the way, which is just fucking a sign from the heavens, right? John DePetro cracks a woman's taillight while backing into her car at a low rate of speed in the fucking parking lot. Holy shit. And he's like, whoa, he's trying to show off to the jury. Like, whoa, I have access to Jen McCabe. How would you like to speak with the queen bitch herself on my show? So he's sitting here like, bro, everything's turning up DePetro. Everything's turning up DePetro right now. They were booing me then, but they're going to be cheering me now. There's going to be a DePetro parade. I'm going to talk to Juror 17. He definitely thinks she did it. And I'm going to bring him on and he's going to talk with Jen McCabe and we're going to expose this. And then we're going to get the jury to have the vote nullified. And boy, Karen's going right back to jail. This is how these people think. Okay. So DePetro right now is coming in his pants like, oh, we're going to get him good. Okay. And so he's like, okay, I'm not sure what time is the show. So he was, but now this guy's like, okay, now I got to abort. Now we got to abort. I can't have it go on there. Okay. And then he says this is the abort plan. This is how it ends. He goes, are you sure it wouldn't violate any FCC policy? By this point, he had already responded and John had published his article. Okay. So John had already published his article and he's like, oh, fuck. The turtle got me again. How would you know about that? How would you? And he's like, that dang turtle. The turtle got me again. It wasn't me, John. I mean, I'm not Rich here, but like Rich is he's a turtle rider. So he's an extension of me. So the turtle got you again there, Johnny Pants. we got you again. You thought things were turning up DePetro, but things are never going to turn up DePetro because DePetro is a loser. You're a loser, John. That's why you lost your job for WRKO. You got fired. You blamed your wife for it. Okay. You shop at the Goodwill. You're friends with cop killers. You can't get out of a parking lot without hitting some old lady's taillight. All right. And by the way, Karen Reed is free and she will forever be free. Okay. And Paula, you're never going to get to her. She's fucking based as fuck. And she's just dope. And you're never going to, your attempts to like scare her are not working and you know what? The thing about it is, John, you're probably not going to get charged with witness intimidation like you should. You know why you're not going to get charged with witness intimidation? Because Paula's not a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be a bitch like Chris Albert or like Brian Albert. And you got to really suck up your pride and turn in your man card. And you got to go in front of a grand jury and say, I'm scared of Turtleboy. Those are some bitch ass mofos, John. That is a bitch ass move for those grown ass men, Mr. Tough Guys, to go in there and be like, Turtleboy hurt my feelings. Oh boy. Paula is laughing at your bitch asses. She's like, motherfucker, back in Rio. Oh my God. These guys wouldn't last 5 seconds in Rio. They would, oh my God, would have thrown them on the streets and sold them for, for spare parts. I don't know. It wouldn't work out, John. So, we got Paula and you got Chris Albert. I'll take that any day of the week. I think, and, we got Mark Bederow and you got Krusty. I mean, we could go down the line of what we got and what you got. And it ain't even fair. Like, you guys don't have anyone on your side. You have no one. You have absolutely fucking no one. So, all right. Let me read all. So I wanted to do that. Now we got to do turtle chats. Okay. Let me bring up the turtle chats. Give me 1 sec. All right. Here we go. And I'm sure there's going to be a bunch. So bear with me. Spare with me. Okay. Ooh. Good show, huh? I like the show. But new record audience tonight. Hopefully some people got some screenshots of the 25,000. We had 25,000 live viewers tonight. A couple of years ago, I was just a young turtle going through the motions. And, a good night was like when I had 300 live viewers. Oh, how the times have changed. Oh, okay. Hold on. This is zoomed in a little too much here. And I believe the Oklahoma City Thunder have won the NBA Finals, correct? Yes, they have. Congratulations to my OKC Turtle Riders. It looks like Tyrese Halliburton disappeared. He only played 7 minutes. He got hurt. Holy shit. No assists. Might be an asterisk. I don't know. But SGA had 29, 20 for Jalen, 18 for Chet. Okay, congratulations to this. They deserve it. Y'all like to see those teams win. Okay. All right. Let me see what we got here. Okay. Give me 1 minute to load these all up. Why does it keep fucking doing that? All right. All right. All right. First one is from the McAlbert Puff Piece. Sends $5 and goes, "Hi, Turtle. It's Matt Gutless from ABC News. Listen, Turtle, I know I was too gutless to ask the McAlberts any tough questions, but we don't do real news here anymore at ABC. We leave that to the real journalists like Dr. Turtleboy. A guy could get arrested for asking tough questions, don't you know? Man, what a pussy that guy turned out to be. I liked him too. I wanted to like him. If you look up Matt Gutman, one of the first thing that comes up is he wrongly reported in whatever year Kobe Bryant died that Kobe Bryant's entire family was wiped out in a helicopter. He just reported that. Like, fucking didn't give a shit. He just went with it. It was all, his whole family was fucked. Kobe Bryant's whole family was fucked up from that because they're like, all the girls died? What? And so that's him. So anyway, on July 23rd, 2023, I went out. I was invited to a fancy steak dinner in Boston with Karen Reed, Alan Jackson, Elizabeth Little, a couple of Karen's other friends, and Matt Gutman. It was cool. Everybody had a steak. I had the bolognese because if you put bolognese on the menu, I'm going to order it because it's fucking the bomb. It's like almost as good as Chili's chips and salsa, right? So, and I like steak. Steak's fine. I don't mind steak, but bolognese is better. It's not even, and it's whatever. So anyway, so we went to this fancy steakhouse in Boston, and I had a meal of food with Matt Gutman, and man, him and I hit it off real good. It was the day after the rolling rally on July 22nd, 2023. And I was telling him I was like, oh yeah. Like he was hearing all this shit about the McAlberts, and he's like, oh my God. Like he was like blown. He was completely on our side. Like he got it. Like you talk to this guy, he just fucking gets it. Like, you know, when it just clicks, and like he got it all. And I was telling him about the rolling rally, and he thought, oh, this is great. This is really interesting stuff. This is cool. Wow, you did that? That's so cool. Blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I saw him the next day, 2 days later at the court hearing, and we exchanged numbers, and we've talked a couple times since then. Anyway, now he pulled a Phelps. He pulled a Phelps. Like he'll do anything to please. Like he wanted to please the cop killers. He wanted to please them. And he does this bullshit puff piece interview. And like at the end of the interview, he mentions something about like the blogger has been charged with like all these crimes or something like that. Like, and I'm like, the blogger, bro, you know who I am. Like, you know exactly. Can we watch, actually, now that they're gone, I didn't want to make fun of the McAlberts too much with my lawyer here. I feel like your parents are kind of watching you. Now that he's gone, now that we can play, let's play. Okay, let's watch this.
Saga wrapped up yesterday. Reed captured celebrating at dinner with her father, and today seen walking with her attorney, Alan Jackson.
I didn't even know I'd be here today, so I had no plans.
Meanwhile, O'Keefe's family and friends struggling with the verdict.
I'm just sad for John's family and what happened yesterday, and I feel like they didn't get justice for him and our lives.
Bro, somebody pointed it out before, and I can't see it now. It's Paul Gallagher with a wig. That's Nicole Albert. It's Paul Gallagher with a wig. Tell me that's not Gallagher. That's definitely got mofo Gallagher. And by the way, the fact that they consider this getting dressed up, like, bro, do any of these people own a nice pair of clothes? Any of them? Any of them? Like, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Look what they're wearing. Brian's like, you know what I'm going to wear today? I'm going to wear a button down. A short sleeve one, though. Not a long sleeve, a short sleeve one. And I'm not tucking it in because fuck that. I don't tuck shirts in. Okay. And then you got Chris over here who looks fatter than Proctor. He's gained more weight than Proctor. I thought Proctor looked fat. Holy chicken parm. How much mediocre chicken parm has this guy consumed? Look how fat he looks. Look at those titties. Look at those things pointing out there. He's got bigger titties than Nicole. Telling me that's Paul Gallagher with a mop on his head. That's what that is right there. And then you got this guy over here. Oh, Jen is the only one in the bunch with any sort of fashion sense to her at all. But the rest, holy shit, just look at this crew. Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Who thought this was a good idea? Like, bro, everyone's loving Karen Reed right now. Like, she has been acquitted. She's riding high. Everything's turning up Karen Reed. and Turtleboy too. Everything's turning up Turtleboy too. And so like you're looking at this and you're like, who the fuck wants to watch this shit right now? Like, let's watch, because Karen Reed didn't do it. That means someone else did, and it was them, obviously, because it can't be anyone else. So it has to be them. And that's why they're doing this right now, is because they know that, like, if Karen Reed's acquitted, everyone's immediately going to be like, well, oh, the further validation that you mofos killed them. And so like, oh shit, we better go on TV and tell them we didn't. That's our plan, is we're going to go on there and tell them we didn't do it. And then they'll believe us, right? Like you guys believe us. Okay.
It was just changed forever.
Why speak out now after the verdict?
We took what we thought was the high road.
Oh my God.
Let the court do its job.
We took what we thought was the high road. Let the court do its job. So it did its job. It acquitted Karen Reed, which means you mofos did it. That's what that means. They did it. There's no other conclusion a reasonable person could reach while watching that. So, and to say they took the high road, how the fuck did Chris Albert take the high road? Tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the C.F. McCarthy's incident, in which he told me he was going to bash my head up and down the sidewalk. But besides that, they took the high road. Okay.
After a night of hanging out at a local bar in a brutal 2022 blizzard.
And by the way, none of these people even testified.
Brian and his wife, Nicole, hosted a late night gathering at their home. An invitation had been extended to Reed and O'Keefe, but Brian Albert says neither of them ever entered his home that night. O'Keefe was found lying unconscious in the snow of Albert's front lawn. He was pronounced dead at the hospital hours later. The defense's theory? A violent altercation at the Alberts' home, possibly involving other members of law enforcement.
Here we go.
Did John ever come in the house?
Never. No.
No.
You never saw John O'Keefe in the house, right?
Never.
Never. Never.
You never saw him in the house, right? Why did he say right? No. Shock. I mean, what the fuck is the point of this? What is the point of this, Gutman? How come Gutman's not asking, like, what about the dog bites? What about the fact that 2 doctors testified at the trial that John was bitten by a dog? What about the fact that your fucking dog is gone? Who does that? Is that normal? Why would that happen? Why did you do that? What about the fact that Brian Higgins, do you guys talk to Brian Higgins? Let's talk about Higgins. What about Higgins? As Jill Daniels say, what about Higgins? Like, let's talk about that. Okay, so case closed. Really tough questions here from Gutman.
These are people in your own community who believe the conspiracy theories, who believe that there were other law enforcement officials and agents involved in this. Why is it people in your own community
here we go.
who believe these conspiracy theories?
You do realize for this conspiracy to be true, it would take 30 to 50 people. You'd have to have.
Okay. First of all, how is that an answer to his question about like people believing this? You do realize that 30 to 50 people. No, actually just you 5. Just you 5 and Higgins. Just that's it. It's really not many more. There's nothing else. Because no one else was questioned. Colin wasn't questioned. Caitlin wasn't questioned. Brian Albert Jr. wasn't questioned. Tristan wasn't questioned. Nobody was questioned. So it's really not that hard at all. And honestly, the more I read about this and hear this testimony, I really think that that for a while there, at least Brian Tully and them thought that Karen Reed did it. They thought he did because Michael Proctor said that he did. She did. I think Michael Proctor knew it was bullshit, but I think that the rest of them are just trained to back their homies. That's it. I don't know where Julie Albert is in this, the woman who's fucking messaging, offering bribes to Michael Proctor. Besides that, we'll see.
Multiple cops on 2 different police departments, multiple civilians, the medical examiner, firemen, EMTs, you name it. That's how
firemen, EMTs are in on it. No. What about all the firefighters that said that Karen Reed didn't do anything? What about all the cops who said that Karen Reed didn't say, I hit him. Like plenty of those people are actually not in on any conspiracy because they gave testimony that proved that Karen Reed didn't do it. Yeah. So I don't even know. The medical examiner's in on it. Bro, we love the medical examiner. The medical examiner is great. The medical examiner said John wasn't hit by a fucking car. The medical examiner goes along with the defense theory, which is why Bob Alessi and her were going to go out for a dinner date, you know, a meal of food after his testimony. It seemed like the chemistry between the two of them was palpable, right? So no, I don't know what you're talking about. The medical examiner is in on it. What are you talking about, pal? The medical examiner is not in on it.
How preposterous and silly this is. And great question. I don't understand how people bought this.
Brian Albert.
If that's your whole explanation is it's preposterous. This is outrageous. So many people would have to be involved. It's preposterous. That's it. That's your entire defense. That's his entire defense to this. They thought this was a good idea. Holy fuck.
It says he and Nicole only found out about John's death when Jen McCabe, who is Nicole's sister, barged into their bedroom.
She was just upset, and I immediately thought something had happened to one of her children or one of my children, because why?
I immediately thought something had happened to one of her children or one of my children. That's an interesting statement by Nicole there. So Nicole's immediate reaction after something like this happens is, oh my God, are my children safe? But when Jen McCabe finds a dead body on Nicole's lawn, she doesn't have any reaction like that of, are my children safe? Are Nicole's children safe? That's interesting that Nicole says that, because that is the exact opposite reaction that Jen McCabe has in that same exact situation. Interesting.
Why else is she in my bedroom at 6:30 in the morning right now?
And what did she tell you?
She said,
and by the way, Nicole, and why doesn't Gutman ask this? Wait a minute. Why was it a surprise if you guys spoke on the phone at 5:07 and then again at 6:07? Because that's what the phone records say, that Jen called you at 5:07 and you guys talked for 23 seconds. And then she called you at 6:07 and 6:08, and you talked for 7 and 9 seconds on those calls too. So why were you surprised? Because didn't you already talk? But Gutman ain't talking about this. He's not asking that because he's gutless Gutman. And what is Chris wearing for fucking shoes? Are those Keds? What are those? Are those Airwalks? Are those Vans? Is this motherfucker really wearing Airwalks? I don't even know they made those anymore. What is he wearing? Oh my God.
It's out front. John, I think John's dead out front. I said, what the are you talking about, Jen? And I'm like, who? I didn't know.
You still didn't piece it
I
together.
didn't understand what she was talking about, because why would John be out front of my house?
So massively confusing. There are police officers, EMTs on your front lawn. You're an officer. Why don't you just go outside and investigate?
Oh, here we go.
I'm not a Canton police officer. I'm a Boston police officer.
I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said that. I'm not a Canton police officer. I'm a Boston police officer. I only wake up for Boston emergencies. So if I lived in Boston and I was sleeping and there was a dead guy on my front lawn, I would have woken up because I'm a Boston police officer. But when I go to Canton, I sleep a lot because I'm not in Canton police officer. Because that makes fucking sense. That makes tons of sense. He actually said that. Like he thought that this would sound good. I thought he was the smart one in the group. This mofo can't stop lying. Just look at him. First of all, he looks like a fucking psycho. This dude looks like every psycho biker villain like ever. Look at him. This is a scary mofo. And this guy is intimidated by me. Oh, give me a break. All right, let's play some more.
I was just woken up out of a cold sleep from hanging out the night before. By the time I came downstairs, the police were already in my house.
The police were already in my house. Bro, they were in your foyer. He's making it seem like the police were searching the house. By the time I came downstairs, the police were already in my... Which police? Mike Lank, that counts? Give me a break. Nicole Albert's pal, Mike Lank. You're right. I'm sure he was really giving you guys a tough time, wasn't he? Paul Gallagher testified that he had absolutely no probable cause to go in your house. But okay, yeah, I'm sure the police were really scouring through there.
John was already gone. There was nobody to save. I would have taken a bullet for John O'Keefe.
Oh my
because
God.
He was a fellow cop. That's the most ridiculous.
I can't believe he said that. I would have taken a bullet for John O'Keefe because he was a fellow cop. This motherfucker has the nerve to say that. Brian Albert murdered John O'Keefe. And I say that, I don't say that because he delivered the fatal blow. All parties are involved. This is called joint venturer, motherfucker. Like when Aaron Hernandez killed Odin Lloyd, I don't even know if it's been proven that he fired the shot. It doesn't matter. He was a joint venturer. They're all murderers. Anyone involved in this is a murderer. Okay? John was a Boston cop. That's supposed to convince us that he's incapable of hurting John O'Keefe, a guy he didn't even know because he's a Boston cop. He would have taken a bullet from him. He wouldn't even go outside for him. He actually said the guy that wouldn't even go outside for John O'Keefe is going to tell us that he would have taken a bullet for John O'Keefe.
Ridiculous question that people always ask. It makes zero sense. What am I supposed to do? Run out front in my underwear and start running yellow tape around the fire?
No, you don't have to have your underwear on. You can put on a thing called pants. Okay? Pants. Those things around your legs right now that you got on the discount rack at Marshall's, right? You just throw on those bad boys. Hey, they can even be pajama pants. We can be like Brockton up in here. Okay. You throw on some pajama pants, maybe a little sweatshirt, go outside, say, what the fuck's going on out here? What happened? What's going on? How about that? How about they wake up earlier? The dog does, like Paula says, wouldn't a dog have woke you up? Okay.
Sergeant.
Over the course of the night, Reed called and texted John 52 times. She then called Jen asking for help to find John. Karen previously telling me she and John had gotten into an argument that night.
Would you say that you were angry with John that night?
Yes.
Could you have been angry enough?
See, this is why Gutman's a liar. He's telling me we had gotten into an argument that night. She didn't say they got into an argument. She said she was mad at him. She was mad at him because he wasn't returning the calls because he was dead. And she thought he was alive. She didn't think he got hit by a car. She didn't think he got beaten up. She thought he's getting his dick sucked. Or whatever. Drunk and playing beer pong. Who the fuck knows? Ignoring her, that's for sure. Not taking care of his kids. That's why she was mad. Not because they got in an argument, gutless, but because of that. So I don't know what this guy's problem is.
And slightly drunk because he had annoyed you, that in the fit of rage you just backed up and
Never.
tried to tap him.
Would
Not
never
to try to kill him, but try to
tap him with my 6,000-pound full-size SUV. To hit John's body with my car. No.
I spoke with a juror tonight who told me she believes a collision did not occur.
Overall, a lot of the evidence had caused reasonable doubt, and that was enough for us not to convict.
Wonder what jury that was.
A little after 6 a.m., Karen found John's body in the snow. Jen called 911.
911, what's your emergency? There's a man passed out in the snow.
Hello? But what raised eyebrows at Reed's trial was a defense theory about a Google search Jen had made about how long it takes to die in the cold. The defense claiming she searched it before O'Keefe's body was found.
So much has been made about that Google search that morning. Was it at 6 a.m. or was it at 6:27 a.m.? How long to die in the cold? What's your answer?
She asked me to do it at outside of Fairview at 6:20, whatever it was. Doesn't matter how much I say about it, people will not believe it.
The group also hoping to clear up rumors regarding the Albert's dog, Chloe, who had been rehomed after the incident. The defense claimed the dog was involved in O'Keefe's death.
Those wounds were inflicted as the result of a dog attack. Those marks are from teeth.
They've known for 2 years where Chloe is. The state shared it with them.
So if they wanted to take DNA evidence from Chloe the dog and match it to possible DNA evidence on John O'Keefe, they could have matched.
Absolutely.
But now with the trial behind them, they say they're still faced with threats against them.
Dog attack. Those marks are from teeth.
They've known for 2 years where Chloe is. The state shared it with them.
So if they want,
they've known for 2 years where Chloe is. That's completely untrue. Completely untrue. That's a lie. And number two, what the fuck are they supposed to do with that? Even if they knew where Chloe was, if Chloe was actually alive. Listen to this.
Wanted to take DNA evidence from Chloe the dog and match it to possible DNA evidence on John O'Keefe.
But Matt, you fucking idiot. And we talked about this at dinner. Okay. There is no DNA on John O'Keefe because they didn't preserve the tissue samples from his arm. They're gone. All they have is his sleeve. Michael Proctor swabbed his asshole with it and sent it to Terry Kuhn. And by the way, Terry Kuhn was refusing to testify. A lot of people don't know that. She refused to testify for the Commonwealth. Apparently in Massachusetts, if you live in another state, it's very difficult to get, to force a witness to come here. She was a hostile witness. She did not want to do this. She knows this is bullshit, Terry Kuhn. And so, yeah, what? Even if they had access to Chloe, what are they going to do with Chloe? Other than see that she's alive. Okay, cool. You guys didn't old yell at her. So how can they even prove the Chloe bitch? You're going to test. First of all, it's dog DNA. Any dog will do. And it doesn't have to be Chloe. It just has to be a fucking dog. And if it's on his arm, yeah, that would help. But they didn't preserve the arm samples. So, duh. That's it.
They could have matched.
Absolutely.
But now with the trial behind them, they say they're still faced with threats against them.
Oh my
families,
God. Oh my
but
God.
hope to continue calling this community their home.
Just listen to this music. Just listen to this music, the way they're presenting it. Their message with threats daily, but they just want to make this community their home. I hope he does a follow-up with Paula the juror and the threats she's facing. Listen to these sad sacks cry.
You get depressed, and it's but this is the town we grew up in. We didn't.
He gets depressed. This is the town we grew up in, you know? Oh yeah, because they own the town. This is our fucking town.
Do anything wrong.
We didn't do
contributed to our town. We love our.
We contributed to our town, says the guy that evaded taxes for fucking years. Says the guy who killed a man in 1994. Says the man who threatened to beat an award-winning journalist face up and down the sidewalk. This guy, what the fuck did Chris Albert ever contribute to this town? Nothing. None of these people ever fucking contributed shit.
Our town. Why should we have to go anywhere?
Why should we have to go anywhere? They don't have to go anywhere. They can stay there all they fucking want. Why are they acting like if they had any sort of shame, they would leave, but they don't. And so welcome to America, where people have the right to fucking protest you. And that ain't never going to stop. Ever. Ever. So anyway, that's that. All right. Let's go back and read Turtle Chats. Next up. All right. Claire Brown sends $25. Goes, hi, doctor. Pumped for tonight's show. Sending love and support from Arizona. Free Karen Reed. Karen Reed is freed, and we love Juror 11. Thank you. Renee sends $10. Goes, please congratulate Emma on graduating high school and wish her a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Emma. Keep up the great work. Dr. Susie Laposata sends $6. Goes, doctor, the Jason Whitlock interview was fire. And Matt Gutless asking about 6 and 627 Google search and not mentioning 227, what a fraud he is, and free Turtle Boy. Oh, yeah. Dude, if you guys haven't seen yet, honestly, it was my best interview ever. Like the Jason Whitlock interview was honestly one of the it's getting rave reviews. It was 50 minutes, but he did a great job interviewing and asked great questions, and he let me talk. So I think I've shared it on Twitter. I'll share it again. It's really, really good. You guys are really like the Whitlock interview. And I have a hearing coming up on July 7th for my hearings. And it'd be cool if you guys were there. You know, don't forget about your boy. Don't forget about your boy. All right, next up. Allison sends $5 and has no comment. Thank you. The McAlbert. No, I read that one. Madonna Power sends what'd she send? $25 and has no comment. Thank you. Emily Moe sends $10 and goes, when you heard not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, was there semen everywhere? Oh, yes. And doxing and children. Lots of it. Thank you. Rachel sends $5 and goes, congrats on freeing Karen. Doctor, question, is Esty related to Karen? I thought she was just the intern driver, but her TikTok name is Esty Reed. Are they related? And if so, how? No, Esty is not related to the Reed family. I don't know why. I think, yeah, her TikTok name is Esty Reed, which is a little bit weird. But no, they're definitely not related. I'm not really sure why. She was in court a lot. I'm not sure how that happened, but I don't know. I don't really know. She's definitely not a member of the Reed family. So I know it says Esty Reed on there, but that's definitely not her name. I don't even know what her last name is, but okay, cool. Next up. Okay. Let's see. What I think I lost it. Hold on. Let me find it. Let's keep other feelings I have on that to myself. Emily, no, I already read the one. Amy sends $5 and goes, you're a hero. Oh, thanks, Amy. I appreciate that. JP sends $10 and goes, never let anyone forget Colin was present for the murder, if not fully responsible. You know, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. Wait, Nate calls her his blonde sister. He actually says that. I didn't hear him say that. I think I heard her say that. I missed that. I don't know if I heard Nate call her that. But anyway, okay. Yeah, but Colin, I let's not forget, like a lot of this has been lost in the the whole reasonable doubt thing, whatever. But like, let's not forget, Colin was inside that house, and for whatever reason, they have gone to immense pains to make sure that Colin is not inside that house, even though nothing happened inside that house. That's what they want us to believe. Okay. So yeah. Okay. All right. Next up. Okay. We have here Tarsha sends $10 and goes, listen, Turtle, for taking a pic with me last week. My coworkers were jealous. Can you ask 11 what was the most surprising argument or observation made by another juror? You're the best. I appreciate that. I didn't want to like do turtle chats for juror questions just because it's just like I don't want to put them for sale. So I appreciate that, and thank you. Okay. I don't think that's the case, James. I don't think that's the case. But okay. Anyway, back to this. Anonymous sends $5 and goes, where can I get that amazing FKR Scrabble shirt? This shirt can be purchased on my website on tvdailynews.com. And it's right on the Turtleboy store thing on there. Okay. Next up. Jared sends $5, goes, Turtle, congrats on your sister's wedding. Oh, thank you. Just like yours last night, my sister was 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to say exactly what you told me when you wished my sister congrats from my Turtle chat. Your sister is currently getting, I can't even read it. Is that what I said? Is that what I said? I told this guy that his sister was getting fucked. Like it's time to fuck after the wedding and just fuck for a week straight. Congratulations to them. So there's that. Okay. I don't want to think about that. So there's that. Okay. Thanks. It's your sister, you know? But I guess, you know, maybe I had that one coming. Okay. Thanks. No pun intended. All right. Mimi sends $100. Thanks, memes. And she says, picture this, over 140,000 people dancing, or at least bopping their head or pumping their fist to your intro across this country and internationally. I'm proud of you. Proud like a mom. Proud. Yours would be too. You know, that is one of the first things I thought of, you know, after that, you know, I wish my mom, she would have loved this shit, you know, like she would have been real proud of me. You know, she got disappointed in me a lot, but she also was very proud of me, you know, so that would have been cool. But I knew that because she knew how into this I was, you know, and to see it through like this, she would have been really happy to see it. So, all right. Next up, Jamie sends $10, goes, thank you, Turtleboy, and an extra thank you to Paula in handling the trolls with sarcasm, and thanks to Mark too. Free Turtleboy. Thanks, Jamie. Alicia sends $10, goes, you rock. For the documentary, you should be played by Jeremy Renner. Karen should be played by Maria Bello. Yeah, the thing about documentaries is actors don't play you in them, but good idea. Thank you. Next up. Let's see. Kelly sends $10, goes, Steve Scanlon was on the defense's witness list. Why didn't he testify? Thanks, because he's a horrible witness. Thank you. That Colombian chick sends $5, goes, that ABC News interview should have never happened. Shit was ridiculous. And Nicole said that because of the verdict, their lives have changed forever. How come? She said because of the verdict they have? Well, I didn't. Probably because now people are going to know they did it. It kind of just confirms it. 12 people, like, even though I didn't ask Paula that, and she probably would have said, like, I don't know if they did it, but like, you kind of do. Like, if Karen didn't do it, then they did it. So I think we're done with that. Of course they did it. Thank you. That's what's making these people so upset, is that like Karen's acquittal means they did it. All right. That bitch sends $5, goes, dear Brian, you nailed it. To conspire, you would need a few from each, because there sure was a few from Canton Police, State Police, McAlbert's, and paramedics. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, I don't really agree with that. And I said why earlier. Denise sends $10, goes, please tell me Krusty is next in getting served. That will hopefully begin to get her to leave you and these jurors out of her mouth. P.S. As a mom, I know your mom is beaming with pride for your conviction to truth. If we ever head that way, I'll bring my husband's buffalo chicken dip. Numero uno. Oof. Please do. Please, please, please do. Okay, next up. Kara sends $100. Thanks, Kara, and says, support for you. Thank you. Side note, your interview on Jason Whitlock was so good. I'm telling you, it was really good. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Thank you. Nicholas Tickles sends $10 and goes, a big shout out to the Aussie FKR supporters, Miss Shorty and True Crime Kangaroo, for everything they did to raise money and awareness for Karen. Australia, love you, Dr. Turtleboy. Yes, love them both. That's great. I love them. My Aussie, my turtle roos, as we call them. All right, Ren sends $10, goes, what a full circle moment this truly is. Thank God we are here. May we get to see justice for John O'Keefe. Yes. Next up, Twisted Tragedies Broken Fridge says, donate to the Turtleboy Legal Defense Fund at JohnDePetroShow.com. Did you really? Did somebody really make JohnDePetroShow.com the Turtleboy Legal Defense Fund? Did we really redirect that? Please tell me that's true. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I just shared it. Look at. I'll put it right in there. John, there it is. You guys, fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's so awesome. Okay, next up. Susan sends $5, goes, Paula, I will represent you pro bono if they continue to mess with your naturalization. I worked for DHS ICE for 26 years as a federal prosecutor in Mass, North Carolina, and New York. I taught thousands of agents and officers at the academy. I'm an expert in immigration law. I got her. If she needs me, my email is hillerlegalpc@gmail.com. Website hillerlawgroup.com. There you go. Free attorney. Thanks, Susan. Lori sends $10, goes, McAlbert's interview. Brian said that Jen came in the bedroom and said, John's out front. I think John's out front. Brian replied, what the fuck are you talking about? So he didn't jump out of bed to look out front. He didn't go outside. He didn't go to the hospital. He didn't go to the funeral, but he wants all of us to believe he would take a bullet for him. Okay, exactly. Renita Sussman sends $20, goes, Uncle Turtle, I'm a 20-year editor and producer working in TV and documentaries. I'm staunchly pro-Kearney, and I would love to help in any way. Well, let me know what you could do. Thanks. Maricela sends $50 and goes, Paula hit the mark when she said she loves your questions no one else ever asks. Good shit. Love you, Turtle. I did appreciate when she said that. You try to ask the questions no one else is. Everybody asks her about Aunty Bev. You know, what'd you think of Aunty Bev? So a lot of people in the chat were like, ask her about that. I'm like, that's kind of a question everyone else asked her. So I want to ask her the different shit that no one else has asked, like real specific shit. Everybody else had a brief interview with her. I had 2 hours with her. So I win. Next up. Chad sends $5, goes, I don't know where to start. Do you think the attorneys get paid in any way or all the money went to the experts? I do have the least amount of respect for Brennan, but he did do something right on sentencing. Had Karen slept with Higgins, do you think any of this trial would have happened? I don't fucking know. I don't know what kind of question that is. She could have boned him for a while to get out of this mess. I don't know, Chad. I don't know about that. William sends $10 and has no comment. Thank you very much. Next up, the Albert Family Rock sends, how much did he send? $10 and goes, tell the jurors to do an initial straw poll is part of the mass model jury instructions, not something Kearney did on her own. First, you should discuss and analyze the evidence before you take any vote about a verdict. Okay, thanks. Lauren sends $10, goes, do you have any new updates on Karen's civil lawsuit? No, I don't. Alex sends $25 and goes, wow, doctor, she's a fantastic juror, intelligent, speaks great for it being her second language, can critically think, love Paula, and she's beautiful. She did roast Bukkake about that too. She's like, I did not ask Alan Jackson for Webster's dictionary. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. Thanks. Miranda sends $50 and goes, a huge thank you to Juror 11. Also, thanks to Turtleboy for bringing so much light to this trial. Well, thanks, Miranda. She also sends $50 and goes, one would think the governor would want a clean house with the state troopers, the Commonwealth, the judge. They put on a shit show in front of the whole world. There'd be the biggest mass firing if there was a governor with intelligence, common sense. You know, I think I'll save my thoughts on the governor for tomorrow night's live show because she sucks and she's useless. So thanks. Karen sends $10 and goes, hey, Turtle, nothing made me happier Monday than seeing you piss off Baghdad Bob just by breathing. Still sunburnt as hell. My girl, Lindsay, with the girl with sunglasses, will be interviewing Nicholas Barros tomorrow at 8 on TikTok. Is she really? She got Nicholas Barros? I'd love to talk to Nicholas Barros. That'd be dope. Love to get him for the doc. That'd be even better. Thanks. Okay, cool. Next. Lynn sends $10, goes, where should I send my video of John DePetro in the parking lot the other day? You can email me at turtleboysports@gmail.com, but I've seen most of them. Thank you. Kimberly sends, sends $10, goes, can we please talk about John DePetro proving Karen Reed's taillight broke when she backed into John O'Keefe's car in the driveway? How is this not discussed more? I mean, I kind of did discuss it on the show tonight, but thank you. All right, next up. Sorry, I got a bunch to read here. Whoa. Huh. All right. Sarah sends $10 and goes, thank you, Aidan, so much for having Mark and the juror on tonight. It was really great. How can I donate if Karen has to go back to court for the lame civil trial by the O'Keefe family? Our hearts go out to them. They don't see the facts of the trial, but justice for John. Anyways, yeah. So like she does have the civil trial, but I believe those attorneys are paid for by her insurance company, and they're probably going to settle that one. So I don't think much is going to happen with that. The O'Keefes just want like 50 grand, and the insurance companies will probably just write her a check. So I think that's how that one's going to end. Honestly, clearly she is fucking with you about Barros. I was going to say, if she goes on some random TikTok, that's fucking wild. You know, I don't know if that's true or not, but that would be crazy. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. It's late. All right, next up. Okay. Oh, I was going to say your boy. I mean, if you're feeling generous, the Turtleboy Legal Defense Fund could use some funds too, because I don't know if you guys know this. Karen Reed may be free, but I'm not. You know, like I'm facing more years in jail than she ever was. Like I have 9 felony. I'm being indicted. I've been indicted for 2 more. They're just trying to put me in jail for the rest of my life, you know? So she is interviewing him. That's fucking crazy. That's wild. Good for her. That's a scoop. Okay. Next up. Joanna sends $250. Whew, I like you, Joanna. And says, that's more like it. For your defense fund. Awesome. Based on this spectacular interview, Paula most certainly should be hired as a jury consultant immediately. I appreciate you, Aidan, and support you. Well, I appreciate you, Joanna, and I support you too. Thank you. Freed sends $25. Goes, I was out in Boston last night talking about the verdict with people we had just met. Someone crossed the bar, overheard us, and gave us the love sign. So many friendly, relieved FKR supporters. We all want justice for John O'Keefe. I almost said JJ. And that can't happen by convicting the wrong person. Thank you, doctor, for your hard work. From Free Karen Reed to Karen Reed Freed, we're on to Free Turtleboy. That's what I like to hear, Freed. Thanks. Asser and Fish sends $20. Goes, about Brian Albert saying you need 30 to 50 people. No fucking way. The McAlberts were in on it. No, the McAlberts were in on it. Jen Fed curated it to Proctor, info to Proctor. Proctor saw Karen's tail. It was cracked and had Jen's statements. Proctor was convinced Karen was guilty, but needed to make the case open and shut. So he planted taillight. By the time the DA's office and Proctor realized there was evidence implicating Higgins and McAlberts, they were neck deep. I think that's right. I think that's a good point. Thank you. Mia sends $83. Interesting amount. Thank you. Hey, it says, thank you, Dr. Turtleboy. The McAlberts and Weeks speaking out is a bad decision. It solidifies the truth. Exactly. The Woohoo Worldwide sends $10 and goes, I'd take a bullet for John O'Keefe, but I'm not going to put on pants for him. I know. Was I supposed to put on pants? Steven sends $5 and goes, great show tonight. Next show, you can have Sergeant Peter Murphy on. Love that guy. He's a real class act. You're right. He is awesome. He's great. Ginger sends $50, goes, when will Hank Brennan be charged for driving around without a registration on his Jeep up until June 17th, 2025? I didn't know that. Woohoo Worldwide sends $10 and goes, free the woohoo. Free Turtleboy. Thanks. $100 from Amy and says, listen, Turtle, put this towards your defense. Thank you for helping Karen. My pleasure, Amy. Jessica sends $5, goes, I'm so appreciative for what you've done to affect real change. We all hope that we serve some greater purpose, but I feel very few truly find a way to make a difference. Thank you. My pleasure, Jessica. Thank you. Bella sends $50 and says, I wish I could be there for your trial dates, but sending love and support to you from Southern California. We love you out west to Turtleboy. Well, thank you, Bella. I love the West. It's the best. I love the West. Okay. Miranda sends 10 and goes, an important unanswered question to me is whether or not Welcher received the x-ray. That's a great question. Did he lie? And did he fail to conduct a thorough record review? I believe Judd. I think Hank just hid it from him. So no, it hasn't been answered. And we'll just never know. Amy sends $5, goes, what's your honest opinion? Do you think it happened in the garage? I do, but I still need an explanation for why the phone went up and down 3 flights of stairs. And it's not Oakdale Street. I'll tell you that much. Samantha sends $10, goes, the Rock is Rocky McAlbert. I love to hear Barros is being interviewed. That's crazy. That's awesome. I'm kicking myself for not getting that interview now. Jeez Louise. All right, cool. All right. Karen sends $25, goes, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you, Karen. Emmy sends $50 and says, I hope the McAlberts keep talking. Free Turtleboy, don't we all? AV7 sends $100. Woo! Thanks, AV7. I got to go back on your show sometime. And she says, thanks, brother, for all your work. Well, thank you, too. You've been great. I love your content. Thank you. Jeffrey sends $10, goes, love you, Turtleboy. Tell my daughter, Tiff, I love her. Tiff, Jeff loves you. There you go. Thanks. Meatball Moritz's Sketty Stain sends $5 and goes, now we know why Brian Albert doesn't speak. Right. Yeah. He just came across as like angry in that. I'm like, bro, chill. You're going to kill a man. Maggie sends $5, goes, why do you think Higgins isn't doing interviews? Because his fucking lawyer told him not to talk to the McAlberts anymore. Remember, like Kevin Albert sent him a text message like, bro, what's going on with you? We're all worried about you, dude. Did you snitch? Yeah. Karen sends 25 and goes, I never read that one. The man, the myth, legend. Thank you. Karen sent $25 and says, the man, the myth, the legend. I think I read that one already, though. Jane sends $5 and goes, in a world of Alberts and McCabe's, be a lucky Loughran. True that. Fox Racer sends $5 and goes, Turtle Foundation. Well, thank you very much. Emily sends $5 and says, our 124-minute mark on DePP Live tonight on X. He talks about it. He supposedly has another juror that will be interviewing with them, and that the deliberating juror didn't like that interview with an alternate. So that's why he took it down. Right. That's why he took it down. Sure thing. Right. Marilyn sends $5 and says, I wish I had more for you. Every little bit counts. Thank you, Marilyn. Peter sends $50 and goes, interested in ghost hunting, more to come. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let me just, and I got like a couple cash apps. Somebody sent me 3 cash apps for $1 each. I am not fucking reading those. You cheap motherfucker. Like you're trying to get 3 messages read and you send $1 for each of them. Go fuck yourself. I'm keeping your money too. Thanks. You cheap motherfucker. All right. Next up. And yeah, I'll call it Turtleboy saying it's like, can we, like, it's a 5. You got to send 5, pal. I ain't reading your message for $1. I'm not some cheap whore. Okay. I'm an expensive whore. Let's get it right. All right. Anyway, guys, that's about it. So it's been a hell of a show, a hell of a program, a hell of a YouTube presentation, whatever you want to call it. We still have over 17,000 people watching now. But I am going to call it a night. And I think maybe, I mean, the trial's over, but I don't know if we keep doing these daily shows until it dies down a bit. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'll let you know. Maybe we'll do a show tomorrow. Maybe we'll not. We'll see. We'll talk to you guys soon either way. And I love all you fine people, and keep up the great work, and, brush your teeth. Peace to you, bum crease.
It calls for data including calendars, alerts, reminders, notes, text messages, pictures, or videos from April 1st, 2023 through and including October 5th, 2023. 7 months.
one, Joe.